mitwpu, where ambition meets innovation and dreams turn into reality. I am Anay Kumar Joshi.
And I am Adiba Poonawala, and we are thrilled to be your hosts for today. Before we begin with the program, I would like to thank our sponsors for today, Swiggy, IMS, Global Destination Learning, Hero Motor Corp, and Saundarya Connect. Your presence here today signifies the importance of our gathering, and we are grateful to have you here as we embark on this remarkable journey of innovation.
We request you all to kindly rise in your seats and with a huge round of applause, welcome our esteemed dignitaries for today's session. May we please put our hands together and welcome Dr. Sarmeshcha Desai, Associate Dean Academics, School of Computer Science and Engineering, MIT WPU, Pune. Dr. Surbhi Razdan, Associate Dean, School of Engineering and Technology, MIT WPU, Pune. Dr. Vikrant Gaikwad, Head, School of Chemical Engineering, Bioengineering, Material Science and Engineering, MIT WPU, Pune. Mr. Shashank Varma, Founder and CEO, The Breakthrough Company. Dr. Mangesh Bedekar, Professor and Dean, School of Computer Science Engineering, MIT WPU, Pune. Dr. Priyadarshini Karve, CEO of Clean Energy Access Network. Shri Rahul Karad Sir, Honorable Executive President, MIT WPU, Pune. Dr. R.M. Chitnis, Vice Chancellor, MIT WPU, Pune. Dr. Mr. Sriharan Mani, Founder and Managing Director of Ahisa Digital Innovations Private Limited. Dr. Dinesh Sheth, Professor and Dean, SOET, MIT WPU, Pune. Dr. Neeraj Mahendra, Professor and Dean, School of Health Sciences and Technology. Dr. Ganesh Kakandikar, Associate Dean, External Relations, MIT WPU, Pune. Dr. Shubhalakshmi Joshi, Associate Dean, Department of Computer Science and Applications, MIT WPU, Pune.
I request all dignitaries to kindly proceed to the front of the stage for the lighting of the lamp. Light symbolizes the absence of darkness and the power of good over evil. To commence this auspicious occasion, we will begin with the lighting of the lamp, which serves as a reminder of the enlightenment that education brings to our lives. We request all dignitaries to please join us in lighting the traditional lamp and mark the beginning of today's session of R.I.D.E 2024. Salutations to the light of the lamp, who abides for the welfare of all worlds, who is engaged at all times and in all places, for the benefit of all beings. I now request all dignitaries to proceed to the right side of the dais for ringing of the bell. Ringing the bell of social leadership is more than a call to action. It is a heartfelt pledge to connect, inspire, and lead with empathy. Just as the bell's clear tone cuts through the noise, true leadership transcends barriers, guiding us towards collective growth and shared purpose. As we ring this bell today, we commit to leading with authenticity, compassion, and a vision for positive change in our communities. Thank you, dignitaries. I request you all to kindly be seated. I request the dignitaries to kindly be seated on the dais. I request all members of the audience to kindly take their seats.
Innovation is not about breaking the rules. It is about creating the new ones. It is the relentless pursuit of transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary, where imagination meets action and the impossible becomes a stepping stone to the inevitable. In the realm of innovation, every challenge is an opportunity, and every idea has the potential to reshape the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we once again welcome you to this remarkable session of R.I.D.E 2024.
Before we begin with our event today, we pray for world peace, uniting in the spirit of Atman, the universal essence within us all. And just as the sacred sound of Om resonates universally, may our intentions for peace reverberate across the globe, fostering understanding, compassion, serenity worldwide. We would like to request people on the dais to please join us for the World Peace Prayer, which will be followed by the national song. Please stand, join your hands, close your eyes, and bow your head.
प्रतिपाद्या जय जय स्वसंवेद्या आत्मरूपा देवातुति गणेषु सकलार्थमति प्रकाशु मणे निवृत्तिदासु अवधारि बोधि गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Audience, I request you to remain standing for the national song.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Shubhra-jyosna pulakitayamini Pullakusumita drumadala shobhini Suhasini सुमधुरभाषिणीं सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम्.
Thank you, everyone. You may now be seated.
My dear friends, get ready to be inspired as we witness the power of human ingenuity and the limitless possibilities that emerge when passion meets purpose. In the next few minutes, we'll explore the intersection of creativity and commerce, where ideas come to life and dreams become reality. The curtain is about to rise on a story that celebrates innovation. So sit back, relax, and let the magic of R.I.D.E unfold before your eyes. I request the technical team to please play a video on R.I.D.E 2024.
Entrepreneurship is not just a word. It's a destination. Perhaps it's a lifelong process. What exactly does it take to become an inspiring entrepreneur? Here is the solution to your query. The Innovation Hub at MIT World Peace University presents for the first time ever R.I.D.E, all-inclusive conclave through which we aim to sow the seeds of research, innovation, design and entrepreneurship in the minds of our students. Learn to sustain and learn to thrive in a world full of ideas. At MIT World Peace University, we intend to nurture an entrepreneurial mindset amongst the youth who do not just know how to ideate, but to lead and run a business. Alongside raising job seekers, we also believe in increasing job creators to build an ecosystem full of entrepreneurial mindsets. We believe that any individual with a willingness to learn has a potential to rise up beyond the benchmarks that have been set. In order to bring this vision into reality, we bring to you R.I.D.E with numerous speaker sessions where we intend to bring in prominent speakers from the industry who have built themselves up from scratch. A startup expo, which is a culmination of 100+ startups who have thrived in this time. Let's unite together to shape an innovative and independent future. 10,000+ students, 30+ schools, 4 divisions, 1 university. Let's create our future the way we always dreamt of.
Dignitaries, please accept the honors.
It is with great pleasure that I stand before you to announce the felicitation of honorable speakers. First, we have the honor of felicitating Dr. Priyadarshini Karve, CEO of Clean Energy Access Network. As we honor Dr. Karve today, we remember the countless contributions she has made to promoting sustainable energy solutions. Her vision and dedication continue to inspire all of us, setting a standard of excellence. Next, we are honored to felicitate Mr. Shashank Varma, partner at the Breakthrough Company. Welcoming Mr. Varma to the stage reminds us of his remarkable journey in innovation and entrepreneurship. His commitment I request Dr. Dinesh Seth to please felicitate the guest, Dr. Priyadarshini Karve ma'am, CEO of Clean Energy Access Network. As we honor Dr. Karve today, we remember the countless contributions she has made to promoting sustainable energy solutions. Her vision and dedication continue to inspire all of us, setting a standard of excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause? Next, we are honored to felicitate Mr. Shashank Varma, partner at the Breakthrough Company. Welcoming Mr. Varma to the stage reminds us of his remarkable journey in innovation and entrepreneurship. His commitment and passion have left an indelible mark on the industry and in the hearts of many. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause? Please keep the applause going as we felicitate our third speaker for today, Mr. Sriharan Mani, founder and managing director at Ahisa Digital Innovations Private Limited. Today, we celebrate Mr. Mani for his extraordinary work in digital innovation. His leadership and innovative spirit have truly transformed the landscape, making him a role model for aspiring leaders. Thank you, dignitaries.
Today, we gather not only to acknowledge the accomplishments of these exceptional individuals, but also to express our gratitude for their invaluable contributions to their respective fields. Their expertise, passion, and unwavering commitment to excellence serves as a beacon of inspiration for aspiring professionals and entrepreneurs. Your achievements are testament to the power of knowledge, innovation, and the indomitable human spirit. Thank you for being an inspiration to us all. We now invite Dr. Mangesh Bedekar sir to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you. So dignitaries on the dais, esteemed speakers, dignitaries off the dais, and my dear students. So as we stand here and organize ourselves for the day 2 of R.I.D.E, second day particularly innovation, I hope we have a stalwarts here who will be speaking about how did they influence, get ideas into action, think different. Mind you, when we think innovation, has to be something different. Well, we all have the same amount of gray matter on the top floor of your body, but then how do you use it is what makes things different. So we'll welcome all the 3 guests today and hope to listen from them, try understand how is it that they thought different, how is it that they went different on a different path, and tried to explore it with all their zeal, enthusiasm, and have become successful in life. I hope the students can pick up some more thoughts from this. Think different is the basic motto here when we say innovation. And as day 2 progresses today from the first session to the second session, I hope it gives you more ideas, more thoughts to minder upon, and eventually take it ahead in the next 2 years of your academics, and you come out with flying colors before you graduate. So I welcome the speakers again, and looking forward to listen to them. Thank you. I'll hand it over back to you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and the bright minds of MIT World Peace University. Today, we gather here for an event that symbolizes the power of research, innovation, design, and entrepreneurship, and the unyielding spirit of our university community. In the vibrant halls of MIT World Peace University, we firmly believe that every student carries within them the potential to unlock unlimited possibilities. Today, we're here not to tiptoe around the edge of possibility. We're here to dive headfirst into the deep waters of innovation. This is an event where imagination meets innovation, where startups sprout like wildflowers, and where innovation is not just a buzzword, but a way of life. I thank each and every one of you for being a part of this incredible journey, and I eagerly anticipate the brilliant ideas, collaborations that will emerge from R.I.D.E 2024. Thank you, and let the ride begin.
Now, I would like to introduce our expert honorable speakers for today. First, we have Dr. Priyadarshini Karve ma'am. Karve ma'am's career is a remarkable blend of innovation, dedication, and leadership in the fields of renewable energy and sustainable development. She completed PhD in physics from University of Pune in 1998. In a career spanning nearly 25 years, she invented a number of improved biomasses burning cooking devices to reduce smoke in the kitchen and dependence on firewood of domestic cooking in rural areas. She has also worked on decentralized organic waste-to-fuel technologies. In the past 10 years or so, her work has also focused on devising and promoting strategies for low-carbon sustainable urbanization. She invented an easy-to-use Samuchit carbon footprint calculator for urban Indians and conducts workshops on climate-friendly lifestyle, sustainable urbanization, etc. Dr. Karve is the founder and director of Samuchit Envirotech, a social enterprise that promotes environmentally sustainable energy and lifestyle products. She is also a co-founder of Orja Box LLP, a green startup focused on renewable energy for cooking. She serves on the governing and advisory bodies of a number of national and international organizations. She is currently the national convener of Indian Network on Ethics and Climate Change. She is associated as a visiting faculty in several educational institutions and is the co-editor of Shashank Sandarbha, a Marathi e-periodical on science and education. Her work has been honored by several national and international awards. I request the technical team to please play the introductory video for Dr. Karve ma'am.
In a career spanning more than 20 years, Dr. Priyadarshini Karve invented several improved biomass burning cooking devices to reduce smoke in the kitchen and dependence on firewood for domestic cooking in rural areas. Dr. Karve, who is the managing director of Samuchit, has also invented an easy-to-use Samuchit carbon footprint calculator for urban Indians. Dr. Karve is actively involved in international organizations working in the field of renewable energy, equitable sustainable development, pro-poor carbon finance, among other things. Over the years, she has successfully led numerous short-term funded projects based on scientific and technological research, technology dissemination and commercialization, third-party assessments, and policy advocacy. She has also been featured in several national and international periodicals, publications, and radio and television programs. We warmly welcome Dr. Priyadarshini Karve.
I request everyone in the audience to kindly settle down so that we may proceed. Thank you.
Audience, may we have a round of applause for ma'am?
Thank you. Respected dignitaries and my fellow speakers on the dais and friends in the audience. It's indeed an honor for me to be here and always a pleasure to be on this campus and interact with students. Particularly on a topic which is close to my heart, which is the intersection of sustainability and the changes that are happening in the global climate around us, and how through energy we can address these issues and try to find solutions. Whenever we talk about sustainability, a typical official definition that is given talks about the intersection of a social circle, an economic circle, and an environmental circle. To some extent, that's a slightly wrong picture because these three circles don't intersect. They are actually one within the other. There is a large circle of the environment, which is basically our planet Earth. Then there is within that a circle of human society. We are just one of the species on this planet. And within that, there is a circle of our economic activities. We do many other things apart from just exchanging money. So there is a circle of environment within that society and within that economy. Once you change, you get that image in your mind, you sort of start realizing that any economic activity which is harmful for either of the two outer circles, the society or the economy, that is not going to be sustainable. Because if the outer circles get harmed, the economic activity just cannot continue. So there is no conflict between development and environment. Environment is always going to win. After all, the planet has been around for 4.5 billion years. We have been around only for 200,000 years. If we look at human history, and it's important often to look at history even for technologists and business people. We tend to ignore history in our academic curricula, but often important lessons come from history. History tells us that human development has been driven by energy. Even as we were hunting and gathering, what were our energy sources? Our very first energy source was firewood. We learned to control fire, and that was the very first technological innovation that humans did, which sort of set them apart from the other species. We were also indirectly using the solar radiation, of course, always, but the fuel that we sort of started harvesting and using was firewood. When we shifted to agriculture, we actually started creatively making use of photosynthesis. Because when you sort of cover a land with what you want to grow, you are harvesting sunlight to grow food. So our use of solar energy sort of went one step ahead. And we continued to use firewood and biomass as sources of fuel. But soon as we started doing irrigation, we also started controlling flows of water. So water flow is another energy source that sort of slowly entered human civilization. If we jump to the world just before the Industrial Revolution, that's somewhere around 16th, 17th century, we call what happened in England the discovery of or the invention of steam engine and the discovery that the mineral coal is a very, very powerful fuel. Before these two things happened in England, there was technology being developed everywhere in the world. It's a bit of a misnomer to call this 18th century period as Industrial Revolution. It sort of gives an impression that there was no industry and no technology before that, which is a wrong impression. Before the advent of steam engines, technologies were being developed across the world. Industrialization already existed across the world. In fact, in that period, the Indian subcontinent was leading in global GDP. We were one of the biggest exporters in this region. This region was one of the biggest exporters of manufactured goods. There was a big demand for skillfully made products emerging from this area. All of this was driven by human power, animal power, and the power of water wheels. In some other parts of the world, wind has also been harnessed. So windmills had started operating variety of mechanical engines. In China, a number of important inventions had been made. So there was technology emerging in different parts of the world. However, it was all driven by low power density energy sources. And therefore, the rate of production remained low, and therefore, the rate of harvesting of resources and consumption of resources also remained low. So it's important to understand that our rate at which we are consuming the planetary resources is very much limited by what kind of energy sources we are able to use. Now this was a time period which one could call, in terms of resource consumption, we can say that this was a sustainable industrialization. But it was not an ideal world. We do not want to go back to that world where the human lifespans were still below 40 years. Many people, because human labor force was also an important driving force for the industry, and therefore there was a lot of exploitation. There was slavery. There were no health services. There was no progress for many communities, no path of progress for many communities. There was huge income and social inequalities across the world. So this is not the time that we want to get back to, even though we desire for the sustainability of resource consumption of that period. What happened after Industrial Revolution? Steam engines made it easier and cheaper to harvest mineral coal. And that made this very high energy density fuel very easily available. It was abundantly available in England. So that's a bit of an interesting coincidence that coal mines already existed and steam engine was developed, which made that coal easily available. A lot of industrial innovation was happening. So a number of things sort of happened at the same time. Very soon after mineral coal, petroleum, crude oil was also found, and scientists figured out the chemical process that could convert that crude oil into various fuels. The very first fuel that was made was kerosene. Then came diesel, petrol, and then all the gases that we have been using. So all of these fossil fuels are very high energy density fuels, and in those days these were very, very cheaply available. And that sort of removed the limitation on how fast productions can happen in manufacturing industries. Now, if your rate of production is increasing, you are going to consume more and more raw materials. And you are going to need bigger and bigger markets, because now you are making much more goods than what you were making earlier. That was the trigger for Europeans to go out and try and control other lands and other people. Lands, because those were sources for raw materials, and people, because that's the market. So the whole imperialism from Europe was triggered by this sudden expansion of industrial productivity. So again, energy is the driver of history here. After the imperial sort of regimes that changed the history of many parts of the world, after the Second World War, when the political empire shrunk, the economic empire still continued. We call it globalization. So we have become a connected global economy after the Second World War, with all the new countries that had been created along with the previous imperial masters. This world is primarily driven by fossil fuels. And around 1960s and 70s, scientists started noticing, climate scientists started pointing out that the average temperature of planet Earth has started rising up. Earth's climatic conditions had been changing. I mean, 4.5 billion years, many ups and downs had happened. But after the last ice age, which ended about 11,000 years ago, we had experienced on the planet a relatively quiet period with the climate being very steady, hardly any changes. And this is the period in which humans moved from hunting gathering to agriculture, to civilizations, to urbanizations, to industrializations, to the modern world. And now, again, it seemed like the Earth's climate had started to change. Very soon, researchers made the connection that this was linked with the use of coal and petroleum. When we burn coal and petroleum and many other industrial processes, we are adding carbon dioxide and methane and some other gases to the atmosphere, which work to trap heat in the planetary system. These are called greenhouse gases. So because of that, over the last about 200 years or so, the Earth's average temperature has increased by about 1.2 degrees centigrade. We have already started experiencing the impacts of this warming. The monsoon cycle has gone for a toss, for example, and that is something we are already experiencing in India for the last few years. We have also experienced extraordinarily hot summers. Heat waves have been sort of taking over the entire Indian subcontinent, not just India, but our surrounding neighboring countries also. Many people have died because of heat waves in the summer. Many people are dying because of flooding, and cyclonic activity also has increased. In the summer, because of the increased temperature, we are seeing more wildfires. In the monsoon season, apart from the disturbance of the rain cycle, there has been an increase in lightning. That is also another threat to human life. All of this is impacting our food security because our agricultural systems are getting impacted. In the oceans, the fish populations are moving from south to north, so fishing communities' catch is reducing. As the Himalayan glaciers are melting, the polar ice caps are melting, the sea level is rising. India also has a large coastal region. We are going to lose a lot of land because of the rising sea levels. And as the glaciers are melting, just recently you may have heard about the flash floods which have destroyed a hydropower station. These kind of incidences have been happening every year and will continue to happen for some more years. But eventually the glaciers will be gone, and then we will be in deeper trouble, because then even rivers like Ganga and Brahmaputra will start going dry for a few months in the year, because these rivers originate in the Himalayan glaciers. That is going to hugely impact the productivity of paddy fields and wheat farming in the northern India, which is our bread basket. So we are in for some very difficult times, and all of this is linked with our global use of fossil fuels. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has pointed out that if we want to get out of this unsustainability trap that we have sort of caught into, we will have to start reducing fossil fuel consumption from 2030 onwards, which is when most of you will be at the beginning of your professional careers. So the world that you are going to enter is going to be totally different. Either, there are two possibilities. One is that we don't listen to scientists and we keep on increasing our fossil fuel use. That will create bigger and bigger risks of natural calamities, and that is also going to impact the businesses, the whatever sector that you may be working in. Or we will be in the middle of a very rapid transition to some other energy framework, and that will bring in a lot of changes in whichever sector you will be working in. What is this that we need to transition to in order to ensure that we move back into sustainability, but at the same time we retain all the social good that we have created with the help of fossil fuels? Because it is because of the rapid industrialization that mass production became possible, because of which many sort of quality of life products and services were available abundantly and at low cost for many people. Health services could become accessible to many more people. A large number of people came out of poverty. On the social front, human rights, labor laws ensured that exploitation went down. So a number of social goods have been delivered by these high density energy sources that we have been using. So how do we maintain that and still move back to the sustainable production systems? The solution to that obviously is coming from renewable energy with modern technologies. And lot of technological innovation has happened, particularly over the last 10 years or so. 10 years ago, people used to say, and it was actually true, that you needed more energy to produce a solar cell, a photovoltaic solar cell, than what energy the cell will produce in its lifetime. That was true about 10 years ago. No longer that's the case. The efficiencies of manufacturing have gone up. The efficiencies of solar PV panels have gone up. Today, the solar infrastructure that exists in the world has already paid back all the energy that was used for setting up this infrastructure, and now we are in the positive as far as energy is concerned. The same is true in all the renewable energy fields. Much better biofuels have been developed. Much better windmill designs have come up. There are very efficient micro hydro and pico hydro technologies where even a very shallow water current can be used for generating useful energy. Small windmills are being designed. You can put a windmill today on your rooftop and still generate a respectable amount of energy. So a lot of innovation has happened in renewable energy. So we need to shift to a system where renewable energy will drive all our industries and all the basic needs that we need to meet in order to live a good quality of life. However, we have to think outside the box in making this transition, which unfortunately has not happened. What is going on is, because fossil fuels can be harvested only in a few locations, we created a system where the fuels or electricity is produced in very large quantities in one location and then distributed over long distances. We are trying to now shift to renewable energy with this same framework. So what we are trying to do is, okay, if we don't want to build a coal-fired power plant, let us have a wind farm or a solar farm. But the problem with this approach is that a wind farm or a solar farm requires much more land because it's a dilute energy source. And it is an intermittent energy source. So we also need very good storage systems. That has been another innovation that has happened in the last 5-6 years. We have suddenly improved the technology for storing electricity with lithium batteries and so on. And now we are moving even to sodium-based batteries. Sodium is a much easier material to harvest than lithium. So the storage systems are there, but you are going to need very large expanses of land to be covered with windmills or solar panels. This has always been a limitation of trying to shift to renewable energy, where the thinking is that we need to produce energy in a centralized manner and then distribute everywhere. The approach that actually needs to be prioritized is what is called as decentralized renewable energy, where you use all the existing infrastructure, use all the rooftops, use all the bridges, use all the roads, use all the dams, use all that infrastructure to harness whatever sunlight is falling there, whatever wind is available there, whatever water flows are available there. Instead of planting some specific species for making biofuels, we can use agricultural waste. We can use market waste, food waste, kitchen waste. All of these organic wastes can be used as raw material for making biofuels. So once you start changing this thought process and go for a large number of smaller energy generation, both electricity and fuels, where the distribution is in a smaller locality. So rather than making electricity at one end of the state and sending it to the other end, which is what happens in Maharashtra, the electricity production is in the eastern end of the state, whereas all the industry is at the western end. Instead of that, we can now, using the renewable energy that is available everywhere, we can make energy where it is needed in the form that it is needed. Decentralized renewable energy therefore addresses the space challenge, and it provides additional flexibility and opportunity for customization. There is an inherent equity in energy access the moment you go to a decentralized system. And if people have a fair and equal access to energy, they also have a fair and equal opportunity to progress. So this will start impacting or reducing the income inequalities that exist in the society. An entirely new kind of entrepreneurship opportunities, new kind of business opportunities, new kind of service delivery opportunities are arising with this thought process. So the students who are sitting here, you are going to enter a world which is entirely different from what I have experienced, what your teachers have experienced, what your parents have experienced. So don't rely too much on our advice, find your own way forward. Decentralized renewable energy will be driving the future, provided we jump onto the path of sustainability. I am representing Clean Energy Access Network, or CLEAN for short, which is a cooperative or an association of all the stakeholders working in decentralized renewable energy. Our members, about 200 members spread across the country, are entrepreneurs, are think tanks, are policy advocates, are research institutes, academic institutes, all working on decentralized renewable energy. Our members work on biomass energy, solar energy, wind energy, hydro power. So we are in a way technology agnostic. We have been working to promote or sort of bring to the highlight the advantages of taking the decentralized renewable energy route as a priority over large renewable energy as well as fossil fuel driven economic development. We would also like to interact more with students. In fact, last year we had organized a decentralized renewable energy forum on this very campus in collaboration with MIT WPU. So we do have an MOU signed with MIT WPU for starting a student chapter working, looking at decentralized renewable energy technologies and business opportunities and possibilities in this field. So I am sort of making an appeal to all the student community and the faculty here to activate it, because that happened last year almost at the fag end of the academic year. So we couldn't really do much then, but this is the beginning of the academic year. So let us see if we can activate the student chapter and get some more concrete data-based information out there to the students, which will give them a glimpse into what different world they are going to enter as they come out of their academic career and enter the professional field. So this is my sort of request to all of you. Even if you Google search decentralized renewable energy, you will find a lot of information. Decentralized renewable energy will drive the economy of the future, will give you the solution for the climate crisis that the world is facing. And that is why I am making an appeal to all of you to take a look at this sector and think outside the box, think innovatively. I am sure you will find many more opportunities here As it always happens, whenever a new sector is developing, the early entrants always have an advantage. So step out and take that advantage. That's my appeal to all of you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with this huge audience here. Have a good day, have a productive, thought-provoking day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your inspiring words. We are confident that your valuable insights will play a significant role in navigating innovative minds amongst our youth.
With great honor, I would now like to introduce our next speaker for today, Mr. Shashank Varma. Mr. Shashank Varma, sir, brings 21 years of experience in the sustainability sector, with 16 years specifically focused on entrepreneurship, advising and investing in impact-driven ventures across India, East Africa, and Germany. He has expertise in clean energy access and has supported startups in developing business strategies, financial models, and securing funding. Sir is adept at leveraging new technologies to create sustainable business models. Certified as a blockchain associate, he has also utilized GIS mapping and data visualization tools to analyze socio-economic data sets. Additionally, he is trained in human-centered design and system thinking, aiding corporates in developing innovative, sustainable business models. I now request the technical team to play an introductory video on Sir.
Shri Shashank Varma has been working for the last 16 years in the sustainability sector as an entrepreneur, advisor, and investor in the impact sector in India, East Africa, and Germany, with a strong focus on clean energy access. He has worked with startups on their business strategy, financial models, and helped them to raise funds. He is well aware of emerging technologies and their impact on creating new sustainable business models. Shri Varma is a certified blockchain associate and has worked on GIS mapping digital tools to use data visualization of socio-economic data sets. He is also trained in human-centered design and systems thinking tools to help corporates think innovative business models for a sustainable world. Currently, he is partner in the Breakthrough Company. We warmly welcome Shri Shashank Varma.
We are honored to invite Mr. Shashank Varma, sir, to address the gathering.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. So we've been asked to talk about sustainability and renewable energy and trying to understand what innovation is about, right? So firstly, when we are looking at innovation, we need to understand, what is happening around India and why even innovate, right? So if you look at the Indian economy, so your generation is actually at a very good place. You guys are very lucky because you are at an inflection point in India's history. So right now, as we know, the Indian economy, you have heard probably Modi ji saying that we are the 5th largest economy, right? So right now we are about $3.754 trillion economy. In 1991, we were only a $1 trillion economy. So now what's happening is it took us about 35 years to go from 1 trillion to 4 trillion. So we added $3 trillion in 35 years. So about almost $1 trillion in 1 decade. Going forward in the next 10 years, and these are numbers which are backed by World Bank, IFC, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all these guys, right? So what they are saying is the Indian economy right now from $4 trillion in the next 10 years is not going to add about another $1 trillion, which was the case historically, right? $1 trillion has been added over the last 30 years. But we are going to add $6 trillion in the next 10 years. So we are going to go from $4 trillion to $6 trillion, right? So what that means is there's going to be a huge acceleration in the economic opportunities in India. And in fact, India is probably the only major economy around the world which has this huge economic opportunity which is there. If you look at other countries around the world, if you look at EU as a region, EU is going in recession. If you look at America, America is going into recession, it's not really growing as much. Japan has always been stagnating. China has been growing, but the growth is actually going downhill, right? And there's also a huge, if you look at geopolitics, there's a huge pushback against China, right? Everyone is talking China +1. You might have heard about ghost towns in China, right? And that's the beauty about India. India is a democracy. So we have been actually, there's been this shackle that has been put on our growth rate historically, thanks to socialism or the mixed economy that we followed. So that actually started coming out in 1991. The license Raj used to be there. So members on the dais probably know about the whole license Raj. You guys probably don't, but you can ask your parents and grandparents how it was, right? And that's why if you look historically, people always wanted to get out of India. Like NRI banna chahte the. They would want to go out, they want to earn money in dollars, right? Because the economic opportunities was not there, right? It took a Dhirubhai Ambani to really create, a first generation entrepreneur breaking all the rules, right? But that was a trailblazing approach. Then that was followed by the Narayan Murthis, right? Which was then followed by the Piyush Guptas, the Aman Guptas, and all that you see now on Shark Tank, right? So entrepreneurship is a journey. But what I would like to share that entrepreneurship does not happen in isolation, right? There has to be an enabling environment for that. I can share my story. I was an entrepreneur, fresh out of MBA, right? I wanted to do biofuels, biodiesel. So the technology had worked. And I started a biodiesel company called Clean Star Energy way back in 2005. And that the technology worked, okay? The technology worked like a charm. Basically, you will make biodiesel from jatropha oil, pongamia oil, and mix it in diesel, in your diesel engine, and it would work. And you could blend it any percentage from 1% to 5% to even 20%. So we actually had a partnership with a UK-based technology company, and we were able to blend biodiesel in our car. We actually ran it from Chennai all the way to Delhi as a technology demonstrator that this works. So technology was not a problem. But when we actually started going into, and you saw those photos of me planting some jatropha tree in a rural village, right? That was in Bede district. So we ended up buying 25, 30 acres of land there, planted about 100,000 trees there, right? And that land we got really, really cheap because it was a wasteland. The land was, was like 5,000 rupees an acre, right? At that time when good quality land would have been 1 lakh rupees an acre. So the land was not an issue. We were able to get bad quality land, but when we planted the tree, did the whole, end-to-end life cycle analysis, the economics did not work. And because of that, we were not able to make the whole biofuels thing work, right? So it was a humbling experience to understand that, hey, even if the technology works, the business did not stack up, right? And that goes back to the whole point that the policy environment at that time was not so conducive. Now you'll be hearing about a lot of biofuel blending that is happening within India, right? So I don't know if you're aware, but India has already achieved 10% biofuel blending in ethanol in its petroleum products, right? In petrol. That is happening. Why is that happening? Because the policy framework is there. 2, why is that happening? Because there's excess sugar that we manufacture. So all of that gets diverted into ethanol. So because of that, you have a ethanol biofuel policy that is supporting, the government is supporting, right? that's enabling biofuels and bioethanol to happen. There's 10% blending that is happening, right? Biodiesel, on the other hand, although the government is supportive there as well, we have a 5% blending mandate. But over there, we are only able to achieve 0.01% blending. Why is that? Because there's not enough feedstock available. So the point here is going back to my original point that you guys are at a great place where you can really innovate. Is for entrepreneurship to really work, you need a number of factors to be in play. The first thing that you need is an enabling environment. You need an economy that is growing, right? If the economy is not growing, then things are not going to really take off, right? So you're in a great place where the Indian economy is about to take off, right? The second point is the government policies need to be conducive. If the government policies are conducive, entrepreneurship happens. If they're not conducive, it's not going to happen, right? I realized it the hard way, right? We were in that time, 2006, fighting for and doing biofuels despite the government policies not being conducive. And then you realize it the hard way that you're going upstream against the current, and that does not work. So the point of this is, right now, for someone to set up an entrepreneurial, get on an entrepreneurial journey and be successful, you need a number of factors. One is you need a conducive environment, right? So right now you see that, okay, the Indian economy is growing. There's a lot of, investment that will be flowing. So the other thing is when there's growth, you have to imagine that adds a lot of gravity, right? And wherever there's growth, finance and money would follow. So a lot of people will say, okay, but who's going to invest? Even if I come up with a great idea, who's going to invest in my startup, right? It's all about value creation, right? So if you add enough value in someone's life, then there is going to be, money that follows in. So now if I were to step back and say, how do you, this is all about innovation, right? So how do you innovate? So there are a number of factors that you need to look at when you're thinking about innovation. The first thing that you need to think is what is the problem of, what is the status quo? What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Right? That's number one. Number two, who is a problem that you're trying to solve for? So usually what happens is like you want to say, okay, most people, try to get into entrepreneurship and say that, hey, I want to, get entrepreneurship because I want to make money. That is actually a very shallow kind of way of thinking about entrepreneurship. If you actually start thinking along those lines, you're not going to get very far. So there are two things that, I've learned from my life's journey about entrepreneurship and innovation, right? The first thing you need to understand is there's a status quo that exists, and there's a reason why that status quo is there, right? It's called the markets. And if you want to innovate, then you need to bring something to the table that's not been there already, right? And usually that can come through technology, right? So through technology, you can think through that, hey, this was not there earlier, and now technology is actually enabling a new way of doing business. You can reimagine. So innovation for me is all about reimagining how the world can be, right? If someone is facing a problem, why does that problem exist, right? And is there something that you can do to help solve the problem? Now, what is the biggest innovation? So today we are all talking about it's the I, right? It's Innovation Day. So what is the biggest innovation that is going to disrupt the way business is going to be run going forward? Right? What is the biggest innovation that you see on the horizon? Now if you look at it, you guys have probably seen this. I can vouch for it. Just imagine the way we are sitting here today. It's 2024. Do you know how things were in India in 1995? Right? So I remember I was going to college in 1995. and there was no internet. In fact, that was the first time in 95 dial-up internet came in, right? Now just imagine how life would have been pre-internet days, okay? And just look at the amount of innovation and the amount of speed of growth and the rate of change that has been there over the last 30 years, right? 2000s was when the time, late 90s, 95, 96, 97, 98, mobile phones came through, right? At that time, I remember, an outgoing call was 32 rupees, an incoming call was 32 rupees. That's right. Even if you got an incoming call, you just said hello and cut it, you'll get like deducted 32 rupees, right? And that was like not even smartphones. These were like analog phones. It looked like a brick, right? A Motorola phone. I owned one in 96. Go forward, the first iPhone, when was that coming through, right? That came in 2009, right? So imagine life before 2009 when phones were supposed to be not just touch screen. They were like supposed to come up with like, with keypads, right? In fact, there are things when companies don't see what's happening, when companies don't accept innovation, they become dinosaurs, right? And that has happened with a lot of companies, right? So in fact, some of the famous companies which went bankrupt, and they were like, you have to imagine that they were the smartest people at that time with a lot of money. But companies like Motorola, companies like BlackBerry, they said, we can't imagine a phone without a touchpad, right, without keystrokes. And they got bankrupted and went out of business. So similarly was the case with Kodak, right? Remember Kodak cameras? They would be this camera with like a film roll in there. So they also were blindsided, and they did not think through and were not able to understand that, hey, things would become digital, right? So they went bankrupt as well. Why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you this because there are a lot of dinosaurs in terms of companies which are, sitting here today that you think is normal, right? And they're going to get disrupted. And what is interesting is the pace of disruption is going to be even more, right? Thanks to generative AI. It is going to disrupt in a massive way. Now the point is how are you able to tackle that, right? So there are going to be two sides. Alvin Toffler said that the illiterate of the future are not going to be people who cannot read or write. The illiterate of the future are going to be people who cannot unlearn, relearn, and learn new things, right? So if you can't relearn and unlearn what you've already learned, those are going to be the illiterates of the future. So your education actually does not end when you go out of the gate of MIT and finish your engineering, design, or BBA, or whatever, MBA degree, whatever that you're doing. Your education never stops, right? And education is not a piece of degree which says that, hey, you're certified and you've got a bachelor's degree, master's degree, whatever. Education is this continuous ability to keep learning, right? That thirst for knowledge, the quest for knowledge. And I think that's what's important here. Because the moment you stop learning, you die, right? The moment you stop learning, someone else will come in and take over. And this is what happened to the likes of Kodak. This is what happened to the likes of BlackBerry, right? So these companies stopped learning. These companies stopped listening to the market. These companies, and you have to imagine, like Motorola included, right? Motorola was one of the biggest phone companies as well. Nokia, anyone remember Nokia? Right? They had like this brilliant phone, like they had this really small phone. And I used to love that phone, and I don't know why that company went bankrupt. But again, they also refused to come up with a touchscreen phone, right? You could literally take I think it was a Nokia 3110 phone. I don't know if this was probably before your time, but in 2010, it was one of our favorite phones. And literally you could, it was like a rock. You charge the phone once, it will last a week, right? And no problem about dropping the phone. I must have dropped my Nokia 3110 I don't know, 50 times, 100 times. And every time you drop it, the whole phone would like fall apart, right? It will become into like 5 pieces. And you're like thinking, oh man, my phone is dead. But then, you know, the battery is separate, the display is separate, you know, the other parts are separate. But then you put it all together and you switch it on and it still works. And the screen is not cracked. That is not the case with my Samsung phone. Like I've already, you know, dropped it 5 times and cracked the screen 3 times, and you know, I have to keep changing the screen every time. It cost me 2,000 rupees, right? Not fun. But this goes back to the point about learning, unlearning, and relearning, right? So even though some of these companies were at their peak, they had the best resources, right? So imagine your Nokia, imagine your Kodak. At that point, you were at the peak of the company. You were really making a lot of profits. And there's this new company that comes in and says, okay, we're going to have a phone, which is not just a phone. It was going to be a phone. It's going to have internet. It's going to be like touchscreen. It won't have any keypads. And people were laughing out of the room that how can you have a phone without a keypad? But that is innovation, right? It takes a visionary to understand what the future is going to be. So there's a very famous Canadian ice hockey player. I keep forgetting his name. So he's like the Sachin Tendulkar of ice hockey in Canada, right? He's one of the all-time greatest. It's not that he's, you know, the greatest goal scorer, but he's been like the all-time greatest across generations, right? So something similar to like a Sachin Tendulkar, right? So he was asked, so, you know, how come that you've been able to score so many goals, the most number of goals, and nobody is even close to matching your scoring rate? So he says that, and what he says is very philosophical and very interesting. So he says that, and in ice hockey, puck is like it's like the ball, right? It's like they don't have a ball, they have a puck, P-U-C-K, which basically is the thing that they're, you know, trying to score a goal with the goal against the enemy, right? So he says everyone goes to where the puck is, right? I go where the puck is going to be. And that's got deep philosophical insight. Everyone is going everyone is going where the current opportunities are, right? You need to go where the future opportunities are going to be and position yourself and wait for it. And that's why I started my speech with the big numbers, right? So India is not $10 trillion now. India is $4 trillion, right? This is not the 1990s, where, you know, it took a Narayan Murthy, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years to get an internet connection, some crazy number, right? So imagine 7 years to get an internet connection, right? How do you do business in that context? But it took a Narayan Murthy to prove that he could do business, right? It takes resilience. But now there are so many opportunities, you just have to reimagine what the world is going to be, right? So now you can ask that, hey, how am I going to reimagine how the world will be? Well, the first thing you need to do is understand what is happening out there, right? You know what they say about, some of you guys are computer students, so you would get this thing, right? It's called GIGO, right? G-I-G-O. Right? Garbage in, garbage out, right? So your brain, your mind is the same way. You put garbage in, you get garbage out. What you need to do is put some good intelligent stuff in there to get some good processing done on that intelligent information so that what comes out is intelligent, comprehensible information. So that's how you would need to think through. And how can you get good, intelligent information out there? Read good books. Follow leaders, have role models. You guys want to watch podcasts, watch good podcasts of people where you can learn something. So as I was saying, don't ever forget to stop learning. The more you learn, the more you earn. Okay, so if you want to increase your ability to make money, learn as much as you can. Right? And there's also, when you think about learning, there's also, you know, the T kind of a learning. You can start off by learning about lots of things, and then develop your specialization in one area, right? You could also think of an M kind of a learning where you develop, you go spread in multiple directions, get a good understanding there, but then you develop your skill sets in few areas. And the more you do that, the more interconnections you'll be able to see, right? So that's one. Two, ride the AI wave, right? AI is happening now. You ask any expert, things are not going to be the same as they are, right? There's going to be massive disruptions. There's going to be massive disruption across the board. Understand what this animal is about, right? And the world is going to get divided into two halves. The one half are people who know AI, and the other half who don't know AI, right? And whether you like it or not, the people who don't know AI, their ability to earn would decrease. And the people who do know AI, their ability to earn would be, exponentially higher. In this new age of artificial intelligence, they say that, people say that my job won't be, taken over by AI, like people are scared, especially in my generation and people in their 30s as well, that, hey, would AI take my job, right? So the answer is no, AI will not take your job. But your job will be taken by someone who knows how to use AI. So that's the other thing that you might want to consider, is use the power of artificial intelligence to really understand what is happening, right? But when AI does come in as well as it will, you have to see what you are good at, right? What is it that the machines can't do? So I'll just tell you another small story, because stories are important and that's how we learn. So this is 1989, 1990. Garry Kasparov, that time the leading chess player, the world's best chess player, human chess player, was playing against Deep Blue. And Deep Blue was this artificial intelligence program, right? And that program had been trained on every chess move ever that was out there. And the first game was a draw, second game was a draw, third game was a draw. The fourth game, AI won, right? Then the fifth game also, AI won again. So they were up 2-0 against Garry Kasparov. So he had to come up with a different strategy. And he knew that every game that has ever been played, the AI has been trained on that game, right? It was trained for a good 20 years. So what does he do? He plays the most unconventional move ever. He plays a move which was like totally the worst move ever by a human chess player. And he did that for like 4 or 5 moves. And you know why he did that? He did that to confuse the AI, because the AI was not trained on any move which would have not, any good move which the actual humans would have played, right? So now they were in a domain where the AI was like totally lost, and long story short, Garry Kasparov won that game, right? And it was a very unusual game that he finally won. So the point being what? The point being that, hey, you need to play to your strengths, right? You need to play to the strengths of being human, right? Empathy, connecting with people, going deep, understanding what the real human problems are, right? Having that human-to-human touch. Using AI to scale, using AI for the strengths that they have, right? And just to complete that story, by the way, so it took Deep Blue, IBM 20 years to create that model with all the human inputs in there. And then they had a generative AI model with machine learning on top of that, right? And that new AI chess model was asked to play against the old 20-year-old trained model. Guess how much time did it take this new model to learn against this old model which was trained on 20 years, right? And it was only given some basic instructions, play against this chess master or this chess algorithm, win, lose, learn, and take it from there, right? 4 hours. 4 hours is what it took this new AI, machine learning AI-based chess algorithm to win against an AI which was specifically trained for the last 20 years with all the chess moves possible, right? So that's the animal that we are up against, right? Its ability to learn and learn exponentially is beyond us. They already say generative AI's 3.5 is already 155 IQ level, guys, to think innovatively, to use innovation, and to solve real problem. All you need to do, what the AI cannot do is they cannot understand what humans are. They don't understand humans. What the AI cannot do is empathize with humans. What the AI cannot do is understand which problem to solve and which not to solve. So you can, the good thing is understand what you are good at, really go deep, have those human connections, understand, go into villages, understand what their issues are, right? Go out there, meet people, empathize with them, and then use AI and come up with solutions to help real world problems, right? Because only you as humans can do that, AI cannot do that. So with that, I'll end my speech. Thank you very much and have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the sessions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful and inspiring words. Your expertise and passion truly shone through. We appreciate you taking your time to share your knowledge with us today.
Sridhari Maran, founder of Ahisa Digital Innovations Private Limited, holds an MBA from Emory University, USA, and has over 25 years of senior IT leadership experience. He served as the director and CEO of American Megatrends India for 11 years, leading innovations in BIOS, UEFI, and BMC firmware, and overseeing a successful spin-off to HGGC. At AMI, he also launched healthcare, GPS, IoT, and cloud divisions, including the FDA-approved IoT healthcare devices and Bolt and Falcon Eye solutions. His team was a top 5 finalist in the Qualcomm Tricorder X Prize.
Before AMI, Sridharan sir was COO at Business Oriented Software Solutions for over a decade, where he developed products for telecom and systems management. He later led the development of Amazon Academy, an EdTech platform for competitive exams. Sridharan Mani sir has 2 granted patents and several pending in healthcare, IoT, and GPS tracking. He also enjoys coding, reading, writing, traveling, and listening to music. He has authored 2 Tamil spiritual books published by Giri Traders. I now request the technical team to play a video on Sridharan Mani sir.
Shri Sridhar Mani is a founder and managing director at Ahisa Digital Innovations Private Limited. He is an MBA graduate from the prestigious Emory University, USA, and has 25 plus years of senior IT leadership experience in innovating and launching new products and solutions, building businesses, handling aggressive corporate and client leadership roles. He led American Megatrends India as director and CEO for more than 11 years before joining Amazon. AMI is a global leader in BIOS, UEFI, BMC software and remote management tools, booting more than 500 million computers across the world every day. Before founding Ahisa, Shri Sridharan was with Amazon, where he led a team of professionals in building an EdTech platform, Amazon Academy, for supporting students to prepare for competitive examinations such as IIT, JEE, and NEET. We warmly welcome Shri Sridharan Mani.
We now invite Mr. Sridharan Mani sir to address the gathering.
Good morning. I'm not hearing from any of you. Good morning. Good morning. I thank each and every one of you for inviting me, and thank you distinguished members on the dais and off the dais, and my dear students and the future of India and the world. I am very happy to be here. I would like to have this as much as possible as an interactive session, and I hope all of you have some access to the mic. So today this presentation is not from me, it is going to be from you. Are you all ready? Are you ready? Sorry, I am not able to hear you. Okay. So let me start the presentation with a small prayer. Jnanananda Mayam Devam Nirmala Spatika Kritim Adaram Sarva Vidyanam Ayagrivam Upasmahi. Thank you. Okay, let me start with the laws of nature. What are the two laws of nature that governs everything? In physics, in thermodynamics, you would have learnt about exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. What is an exothermic reaction? Anybody has an idea? I thought MIT is known for its learnings. What is an exothermic reaction? So exothermic reaction actually means that in universe, always everything wants to go from higher level to a lower level. From a high temperature region to a low temperature region. Or from high energy to a low energy. And when you are doing that kind of a thing, one important thing that happens is there is a heat dissipation. Heat is the weak form of energy, and you have heat dissipation happening at all the time. Okay, that is the law of the universe. What is the opposite of an exothermic reaction? You have endothermic reaction, right? What is endothermic reaction? In endothermic reaction, the energy is absorbed. In an exothermic reaction, the energy is released, whereas in an endothermic reaction, the energy is absorbed. It's a contrary. Have you seen energy getting absorbed in real life? For example, if you take a block of ice and if you keep it on a table, you would see the solid state becoming into a liquid state where the heat is getting absorbed, and the heat gets absorbed and then like ice becomes water. Similarly, when you are standing and you will see the skin actually emitting water, right? So that is basically again an example of a endothermic reaction where heat is absorbed and the water comes out of the body. So whatever I am sharing here, I am sharing based on my understanding and discussions I had with Professor Natarajan from IIT and from my best friend and colleague from Ashok Leyland, Dr. K. Subramaniam. Okay? So the laws of nature are very simple, and in other words, you can never fight against the laws of the nature. The laws of the nature are universal and true, and whatever we are learning in science is nothing but a discovery. Everything what we have learned is a discovery. Innovation comes based on these discoveries, right? Because we are innovating nothing new except whatever has been predefined by the Supreme. Law of gravity is predefined. Avogadro's number, predefined. Everything in the world is predefined by the Supreme, and we take those definitions in order to come with our own innovations. Okay? So with that fundamentals, I really want to take an example in the automobile industry, which was shared by my colleague Subramaniam, and which I thought is a very, very interesting example to talk about how energy is playing a major role and how we can handle energy, right? What is Newton's first law of motion? What is Newton's first law of motion? So Newton's first law of motion says a body is said to be in a state of rest or in uniform motion unless and until it is disturbed by an external force. Correct? So the fundamental law of motion is like, okay, it's inertia, right? Okay, it's always going to be in a state of rest, or it is going to be in constant motion unless and until an external force is acting on it, right? So let us take an automobile and let us take an ideal road condition. So let us take an automobile and let us take an ideal road condition. So in the ideal road condition, let us say the road is smooth, no traffic lights, nobody is on the road, and like you are the only one on the car and you are going to drive it. There is no friction and there are no any external items that is going to act on it. So in this state, what is the time I would require the energy? I would require the energy only when I am starting my car and taking my car to a uniform velocity, or let us say to a speed of, let us say like, okay, 60 kilometers per hour or 80 kilometers per hour. So what I am doing, I am applying the ignition and then starting the car, and I am going from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour. At that time, I am burning the fuel, right? I am burning the fuel. Once the fuel is burnt, once I reach 60 kilometers per hour speed, now it is in a constant speed, so which means rate of change of speed, velocity is 0, acceleration is 0. So now, as per the Newton's first law of motion, the vehicle should be traveling at a constant speed and I won't be burning any kind of an energy. Correct? So, what does the Newton's second law of motion says? It says force is equal to mass into acceleration, right? So the force is directly dependent on the acceleration and also directly dependent on the mass. If you look at the engines today, all the engines are made of internal combustion engine. So when the internal combustion engine, when the fuel is burnt, you are actually dissipating a lot of heat. That is why you have coolant systems. And every fuel that is burnt, only 30 to 35% of the fuel energy is actually used for transforming the vehicle. So what is the kind of innovation happening in the automobile industry? The kind of innovation that is happening in the automobile industry is to replace these kinds of fuels with hydrogen cell, or with this kind of fuels with hydrogen. And hydrogen is a green energy fuel. Okay, what do you mean by a green energy fuel? For example, when you burn hydrogen, it comes as steam, it comes as water vapor. So water vapor is more clean. But when you burn other fuels, they also, when the heat comes out, when the heat burns the air, you have all the greenhouse gases coming out. So that becomes a major challenge. Okay, why I am talking all this? So the most important thing is, after the industrialization, we never focused on energy efficiency. We never focused on energy efficiency. We focused more on automation. We focused more on achieving, and we became more greedy. So energy efficiency requires a complete design engineering and a innovative thinking. So design engineering and innovative thinking requires you to go and look at the fundamentals, and looking at the fundamentals to see how you can apply the fundamentals to rethink it. Today, in Ashok Leyland and many car manufacturers, they have started replacing the biofuels with hydrogen and other kind of fuels. But the biggest problem now is not the energy dissipation or heat dissipation through the fuel, but the biggest problem of loss of energy is happening through the tires. Tires consume close to 35% to 40% of energy wastage today. So how you can reduce, how you can eliminate that wastage. So if you think about eliminating that wastage, there again the innovation comes into picture. For example, if you look at the railway system, railway systems don't have tires. So in future, you would be seeing the tires are actually getting replaced by not touching the ground. Maybe they will be floating half to 1 inch above the ground. So when you have the tires float half to 1 inch above the ground, you are not going to have friction and you are not going to have any kind of an erosion, and thereby you will be improving the energy and you can use less energy to move the same distance compared to the energy that is currently going to be used today. So fundamentally, if you want to be innovative, you have to be strong on your fundamentals. You have to be strong on your designs. And you need to have a compelling reason saying that, okay, what is the current system and what is the new system and how my new system is going to save energy and also how it is going to give the same level of performance and value what I used to have with the existing system. And to answers to all these questions is not in programming or not in development, is understanding the basic principles of science and the laws of nature. I come from an industry of information technology. My career has been almost 30 to 35 years on the information technology. So in information technology, if you look at the hardware, the core of any hardware is a processor or it's a semiconductor chip. The semiconductor chips came all the way from 180 nanometers to 2 nanometer technology today. What is the reason for shrinking the chip size? The first and foremost important reason is when you have a lot of distance, the energy required to do work is more. When I shrink it, I need lesser energy, lesser power, and I can achieve the same level of performance or a better performance. So that is the reason a lot of innovation has gone into the technology to reduce it. But even if you reduce, if you are having bad programs, bad designs, bad applications, you are only going to generate a lot more heat and lot more energy, and your data centers would be needing lot more cooling systems and lot more HVAC. For example, let us take one example. You are given a task of identifying whether a given number is prime or not. Let us take this as an example. You are given a task saying that, okay, I will give you a number, you figure out whether this number is a prime number or not. So what is a prime number? A prime number is a 1 that is divisible by itself or by number 1. Correct? So if you were to write an algorithm for it, what will be the best way to write an algorithm? The first possible algorithm is, okay, let us say the number is 32. I want to check whether it is a prime or not. So what I would do, I will write a for loop where I will say for I is equal to 1, I less than 33, I plus plus, and I will say I modulo, right? Okay, 32 modulo I, if it is equal 0, then I say, okay, this is not a prime number. So if you look at this program, you are running the for loop for almost 32 times. What is the next optimization that can be probably done here? So you know, if you know the characteristics of a prime number is almost going to be an odd number except for number 2. Correct? Only prime that is an even prime is number 2. Rest of it, every other prime is an odd prime. So then what I can probably do? I will change the algorithm little bit to say for I is equal to 3, I less than the number divided by I equal 0, then it is not a prime, or I is equal to I plus 2. or I will divide the number by 2 and say if the number divisible by 2 equal to 0, then it is not a prime. Because all the even numbers are not a prime, I can have a simple if statement saying that if the number is divisible by 2, it is not a prime. Then I will only have my algorithm reduced to use only to check if the number is an odd number and whether it is divisible by any of the odd numbers. And again, this is not an efficient algorithm. So what could be the most efficient algorithm? Let us say if I take a number as 32, what are the possible factors of 32? You have 2, you have 4, you have 8, you have 16. Right? 2 into 16 is 32, 4 into 8 is 32. So if I have already tried till 4, I don't need to try for 8 or I don't need to try for 16, because if I have divided by 32 by 2, if I have divided 32 by 4, I don't need to try for, so let us say 33, I don't need to try for 16 or 8. So again, you can have your algorithm modified to say, use the find till the square root of the number. Again, this is a bad design, because square root is more computer intensive and more complicated. Instead of that, you will rearrange your algorithm to say if the number, if the I into I is greater than number, exit the loop. Okay? So now what I am saying here is writing a program or writing a way to find the solution, there are n number of ways of doing it. But if you are innovative, if you focus on the design, and if you are a design thinker, you have to look at all possible approaches and algorithms and figure out which is less process incentive, which is less compute incentive, and which is less memory incentive, and which can give you the information in few steps compared to what you are writing as a long, lengthy application. So when you are looking at the competitive edge, when you are looking at green energy, when you are looking at saving, you have to look at how you are designing your algorithms, how you are implementing intelligence into it, so that you can bring effectively the same output with a lesser number of steps and lesser number of iterations. And another thing, okay, people focus more on programming languages, like, okay, I am learning C, I am learning C++, I am learning Java, I am learning HTML, I am learning CSS, I am learning this, that, and this. I would say, like, okay, don't focus on learning programming languages. It's of no use. Because when I started my career as a COBOL programmer. Then I went to work on ISM databases. I worked on DBase, Foxpro, Foxbase, Clipper, C, C++, Java, VC++, Visual Basic, Fortran, Pascal, and today, of course, Elasticsearch. You have like almost all new technologies. So programming language is more like a communication. Like, okay, the most important thing is the thought. Whatever thought you have, you can communicate the same thought in English, you can communicate the same thought in Marathi, you can communicate the same thought in Tamil, you can communicate the same thought in Hindi. So your language is only a tool to communicate your thought. Just because you knew one language, that doesn't make you a good designer. So focus more on logic and techniques. So when you want to be a good innovator, and when you want to really handle the climate change, and when you want to handle the environment, you really need to focus on how you can reduce the energy consumption in everything that you design and everything that you do. So if you want to do that, you need to understand the programming, you need to understand the logic and techniques more important than the programming language. For example, if you take C as a language, C is basically a functional language. And if you take C++ as a language, C++ is an object-oriented programming language. So there is a mile of difference between writing a program in C and writing a program in C++, because if you are writing a program in C++, you should understand the object-oriented programming system. A C language is very good when you are doing a procedural work. For example, if I am having a mathematical problem that involves 10 steps, the best way to do it would be in the C language, because you can write the same 10 steps as step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and go on up to the 10th step. But when you come to object-oriented programming language, which you all may be working on, object-oriented programming language has 4 important concepts. It's called encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. I think most of you would have done it. So the most important point over here is, if you understand object-oriented programming system, then you will know that, okay, object-oriented programming system are more suited for games, more suited for those kind of items, rather than it is more suited for any kind of a procedural functionality. So my point and my take on this would be is, you should focus more on the design, you should focus more on the design optimization, you should focus more on the algorithms, and if you have anywhere data structures and algorithms, I would spend a lot of time learning and understanding it, and your mind should automatically apply and work on which algorithm will be best suited for solving a business case problem, and you should implement that kind of an algorithm for handling that kind of a business case problem. Okay, sustainability can be achieved only by us making sure we are not wasting the energy, by us consuming the energy for what is required for, and we need to make sure that, okay, regenerative energy is possible. In one of the colleges in Chennai, what I have noticed is a girl, she basically made a cycle. In that cycle, she removed the brakes. Instead of brakes, she put a coil. So what happens, whenever she was slowing down and whenever she wanted to apply the brake, the coil will wind. So what happens, whatever energy that is applied for braking, the coil will wind, and then it will slow the vehicle, because when the coil winds, there is a tightness that comes into the wheel, and the wheel will become slower. The movement will become slower. And what happens when she removed the brake, right? The coil will unwind, the energy, whatever is stored as a mechanical energy, is restored back, and the vehicle will start moving instantaneously without you applying more energy in order for the vehicle to move. So this regenerative energy, storing the energy and not wasting the energy and reusing the energy is very, very important concept. And that is becoming more and more of the norm today. So most important thing is, when you are being innovative, when you are looking at the fundamentals, you have to see how you can use the energy to the minimum, number one. And number two, how you can not waste the energy. Is there a way you can bundle up the energy, save the energy, and reuse the energy, so that you don't need to reapply the energy again? So it is like, okay, channeling the energy back into the system so that you are not wasting the energy that is getting created. So I would like to call for some actions here with the student community here. One important thing is like, okay, you know greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and many of these are greenhouse gases. And there is a synergy that God has created. The synergy that God has created is like, okay, animal kingdom and plant kingdom, they exchange a lot. So we exhale carbon dioxide, and plant kingdom uses the carbon dioxide to prepare the food. So in the name of industrialization, we have basically deforested. We have done a lot of deforestation. So one important thing I would recommend is, as student community, you need to take up a challenge of planting more trees. You have to increase the forest level. You need to increase the green level in the country and across the world, because that will really help to bring a reduction in the climate change. The second important thing, I was coming in the morning with Aman and Sujay from airport all the way to MIT. On the highway, wherever you have seen the plants have been planted and everything, you see everywhere plastic is thrown and spitting has happened. As a student community, I think you all should take a moment to make sure this kind of atrocities are not done in your own city, so that you save the environment. By saving the environment, you are really helping. You are helping the community and you are helping the planet to stay healthy for the future generations to come. Do a lot more walking, cycling, so that will help in terms of reducing the dependency on the carbon-based fuels. And then make sure that, okay, if you are traveling, you do carpooling and other things that will also help with climate change, that will also help to save the energy. Thank you everyone for the opportunity. Look forward to interacting with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure that has left everyone here feeling inspired and motivated.
We now request Dr. Neeraj Mahendru sir to kindly come on stage. Can we please have a round of applause for Dr. Neeraj Mahendru sir, Dean of School of Health Science and Technology.
A very good morning. May we have your attention, please? If you look at my right-hand side corner, there's something green over there. Can I get your attention over here? Can we have cameras just over here? This is one of the creatives made by our creatives team led by Shruti, Lisa and Sid. I'll request them to join on stage. I'll also request Prashant and Dinesh sir to come along. And I'll request the guests to come forward, please. So can we focus the camera on this? Thank you, ma'am. It was very... So if you move across the campus, you'll see a lot of such creatives prepared from, and ma'am, this is from fresh leaves that they have done. So if you see on the screen, this is prepared from the recycling of leaves, and there are many such creatives that this team has created. So I'll request you to come forward, Shruti, Lisa, and I'll request Sid to join on the stage. So they have used recycled plastic, leaves, and so many other things to prepare such creatives aligning with our theme of sustainability and climate. Thank you for this, and I'll request students to go across the campus and identify places where these creatives have been arranged. And I think this will create further ideas for you to recycle, reuse, and let us save nature, let us be more sustainable. Thank you once again, and thanks to the panel also. Very interesting talks, and I think that will enlighten our students further on how to go forward and think areas of entrepreneurship at the same time being sustainable and helping the climate. Thanks once again. Thank you, Shruti, and if you would like to say something.
Okay, good morning everyone. So our main aim, the main aim of the creatives team was to focus on the theme, that is sustainability and climate change. We entirely created all our props with recycled materials. We hardly used any materials that were not recycled or they have not been reused. So yeah, requesting you all to reuse, recycle and reduce and contribute and get put one step forward towards saving the nature, because we don't have any other option. There is no planet B. So yeah, we need to save Earth, and that's the reason we have the theme of R.I.D.E. as sustainability and climate change. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shruti. And they were in campus till 11 o'clock yesterday to make this, because they wanted it to be fresh for you. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Lisa. And thanks, Sid. Sorry for you not being on the stage. So back to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Neeraj sir, and thank you, creative team. We really appreciate your efforts. Now I would like to invite Dr. Mangesh Bedekar sir for a vote of thanks.
Thank you. So I sincerely thank all the three speakers. Karve madam for guiding us to understand how your thought processes, particularly with the clean initiative, have taken a big leap and is making waves. Thank you, Shashank Varma sir, for your breakthrough technologies and your ideas of biofuels and what more can be done. And Mani sir again for a masterclass on physics, programming, and how better can it be done. So just thinking about programming, very rightly said by him, the logic has to be smart enough so that you consume minimum energy and keep it sustainable. So nice of you, sir. So we'll take a small detour now. After the keynote speaks are over, I'll hand it over back to the stage masters, and we'll get back to a panel discussion here where you will have some action points, especially for the youth population. What is it that they can actually do? So action points are required. Can sustainability be a career? And as per the three speakers, the answer is yes. Can innovation be applied to sustainability? Can it lead to climate change? Again, the answer is yes. We have an eminent panelist sitting here, so they will come up on stage. We will go down the stage, and they can have a small panel discussion for all of you. Feel free to get some questions in place in case you have, and get to know from them what is it that you can do starting today so that we affect climate, make it more livable, if I would call it, see that we have a sustainable future, and how can you still make money out of this. Thank you, and I'll hand it over back to the compeers, please.
Thank you, sir, for your remarkable words. I request all the dignitaries to kindly proceed. As we move on to our next session, that is the panel discussion, I request the stage committee to kindly set up the dais.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this session, let's carry the spirit of innovation and collaboration forward. Together, we'll continue to light up the path of progress. Imagine a world where education and technology are not just parallel tracks, but intertwined forces driving innovation and progress. This synergy has led the potential to reshape how we address some of the world's biggest challenges, from climate change to healthcare inequities.
In essence, merging education with technology creates a powerful platform for future innovators. By fostering an engaging learning environment, cultivating essential skills, promoting global collaboration, encouraging entrepreneurial thinking, addressing equality, and adapting to technological shifts, we can inspire the next generation to develop solutions that truly make a difference. With this thought, we introduce you to the theme for today's session, Empowering Future Innovators, Bridging Education and Technology for Impactful Solutions. The intersection of education and technology holds immense potential for driving innovation and solving complex global challenges. By effectively bridging these two domains, we can empower future innovators to develop impactful solutions that address pressing issues such as climate change, healthcare, and inequality.
Integrative learning approaches. Education systems are increasingly integrating technology into the learning process, moving beyond traditional methods to embrace digital tools and interactive platforms. This shift not only enhances accessibility to knowledge, but also fosters critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Virtual labs, online simulations, and coding platforms provide hands-on experience that can inspire, prepare students for real-world challenges.
Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here for a momentous occasion, one that is filled with pride and admiration, as we come together to felicitate the remarkable individuals sitting amongst us. I request all the panelists to kindly proceed towards the dais. I request Dinesh sir to kindly proceed for the felicitation. Guys, can we have a round of applause? We have here Mr. Charan Lakkaraju sir. As we welcome Mr. Charan Lakkaraju sir to the stage, I request the stage committee to please provide us with 2 chairs. Okay. I request Dinesh sir and Mangesh sir to kindly facilitate today's guest. As we welcome Mr. Charan Lakkaraju sir to the stage, let's appreciate his initiative, Student Tribe, which is reshaping how students engage with their educational environments. His dedication to creating a nurturing community supports students in overcoming academic and personal challenges. Guys, can we have a round of applause? Next we have Mr. Shivam Singh sir. Please join me in applauding Mr. Shivam Singh sir, a pioneer in sustainability and the founder of Explore IT. His work not only aligns corporates with their ESG and CSR objectives, but also energizes youth across India to take significant climate action. Can I have a round of applause? Please keep it going. Next, we have Mr. Ripudaman Bevli sir. Let's extend a warm welcome to Mr. Ripudaman Bevli sir, the plug man of India, whose innovative approach combines fitness with environmental activism. His efforts through initiatives like trash workout and plastic upavas are setting a new standard for eco-conscious living. Can I have a round of applause? Now we finally have Mr. Vimal Panjwani sir. As we honor Mr. Vimal Panjwani sir, let's recognize his transformative impact on agriculture through AgriVijay, where he is revolutionizing the sector by empowering farmers with sustainable and renewable energy solutions to enhance their livelihoods and support climate mitigation. Thank you, sir. I request Dinesh sir and Mangesh sir to kindly proceed to the VIP section.
We now move on to the introduction of panelists. First, we have Mr. Charan Lakaraju sir. He is the founder and CEO of Student Tribe and leads a student discovery platform that helps students from Tier 2 and Tier 3 colleges find opportunities and network with fellow students. He has been building this platform since 2015 when he launched it as 2MAGs, a student community to discover internships, opportunities, and student events. He is a Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia 2018 honoree and a charter member at TIE Hyderabad, a global network of entrepreneurs and investors. Can we please have a round of applause for Mr. Charan Lakaraju, sir?
Next, we have Mr. Shivam Singh, CEO and founder of Explore IT. He is the founder and CEO of Explore IT, a startup dedicated to sustainability, working with various organizations to achieve ESG, CSR, and community goals. He also serves as the national coordinator for Youth of Climate Reality in India, driving large-scale climate action. Recognized by Earth Day Network and UNICEF as a leading climate advocate, Sir has represented youth at COP21 and advised India's Ministry of Environment. Currently, he is implementing a rainwater harvesting in 22 Pune villages and leading a native fruit tree plantation campaign. Can we have a round of applause for Sir?
Next, we have Mr. Ripu Daman Bevli. Ripu Daman Bevli, sir, also known as the Plog Man of India, is an ex-techie turned socialpreneur, marathoner, and environmentalist. He is credited with starting India's first eco-fitness movement in 2016, combining Fit India with Swachh Bharat. For that, he was officially appointed as the Plogging Ambassador of India with the Government of India. The Government of India appointed the Litter Free India movement, the first such citizen-led movement. Since then, 1 crore Indians have participated. In 2018, he left his high-flying corporate job to make this mission of a litter-free India his full-time commitment. He has made cleaning up other people's litter the coolest thing to do in India. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Ripu Daman Bevli, sir?
And finally, we have Mr. Vimal Panjwani, sir, founder and CEO of AgriVijay. Vimal Panjwani, sir, is the founder and CEO of AgriVijay, an innovative startup focused on empowering farmers through renewable energy solutions. With a background in agribusiness and a passion for rural development, Vimal, sir, is dedicated to making farming more sustainable and profitable. AgriVijay's mission is to provide farmers with renewable energy technologies, helping them become energy independent, boost their income, and support climate change mitigation. Can I have a round of applause for Sir?
We now move on to today's panel discussion. Once again, dear audience, we are thrilled to have you here with us as we dive into a topic of great significance and relevance. Today, we are joined by a distinguished panel of experts who bring a wealth of knowledge and diverse perspectives, each with their unique insights and experiences. Let us now begin with the panel discussion moderated by Dr. Monica Apte, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much, students. Okay. Namaste and very good morning to all who are sitting in this Sabha Mandap. The climate outside is sunny and it's not raining now. For a change, God is kind to us. I extend my heartiest greeting to all the present here on day 2, R.I.D.E 2024. Innovation is a means, new or to change, made to an existing product, idea or field. One might say that first telephone was an invention, the first mobile either an invention or an innovation, and the first smartphone is an innovation. The climate crisis is a global challenge that requires local solutions. That's why today's theme of RIDE is climate sustainability. Now, all of us known to our distinguished guests for the panel. I request Mr. Charan Lakkaraju to speak few words about his work.
Okay. First of all, after any keynote sessions, whenever any panel discussions start, it's always so boring for the audience. And when you're talking on a larger stage like this. So, the first climate change issue that a lot of people have to observe is many of them are using the brochures as fans in the audience now. That's the first thing, is a symbol that majority of the students are hardly bothered about what's the discussion happening here because they're worried about the climate first. Because they're so bothered, like, they're sweating profusely. And the second thing, I appreciate the team which did the whole greenery work, the students. Hopefully by next year, when we have a conference of climate and sustainability, we'll not have the Bisleri bottles or the plastic bottles here. And sometimes when you are drinking the water from those plastic bottles, and we should say like, it's almost like a AC convention hall में बैठ के climate sustainability के बारे में बात करें तो ना, कभी-कभी इतना power चल रहा है, इतने lights है, इतना power generate consume हो रहा है, carbon credits कितना हम save कर रहे हैं, conference के बाद बात करें तो ना और अच्छा oxymoron होगा, because कभी-कभी एक 5-star hotel में बैठ के climate change और sustainability के बारे में बहुत बड़े भाषण दिए तो ना कभी दिल को दुख होता है. That is the first thing. Second, as student tribe, we are 500,000 students which we formed as a tribe community where we build from the tier 2 and tier 3 colleges where we run a lot of campaigns as such. I always believe sometimes the international organizations, the impact will not reach the grassroots level. Someone who talks about an international issue but forgets about a local issue because it's so small or a granular level for them that we started talking about issues in Pune, not Prague. Hyderabad के बारे में बात करेंगे, Hungary के बारे में बात नहीं. What is relevant today in 2024 is a united nation rather than united nations. Because today we need a united nation which is more important rather than the United Nations sometime. Because most of the times, what's happening on the ground is not getting reflected. So we created a distribution kind of a student community platform where we help brands to execute campaigns on the ground, create ambassadors, create the real distribution on the ground. So we work with multiple brands on that impact because most of them don't deliver on the ground.
True. Thank you, sir. I request Ripudaman Bevli to speak a few words about his work.
Well, I mean, the introductors, students have already introduced the movement. So in 2016, I was like any engineering graduate coming out of the college, wanted to climb up the corporate ladder very fast, was running a race every day, was running even at that time, but was running a corporate rat race every day, trying to go up the corporate ladder. But there was something amiss, and when I started running again, like proper running on the ground, so I cycled, I ran, I would do this in the morning, and when you run and train in the morning, there are lesser people and no traffic. You see litter, trash and plastic everywhere. So जैसे सब देखते हैं, मैंने भी देखा और मुझे दिखा कि दो तरीके के लोग होते हैं, या तो वो देखते हैं और completely ignore कर देते हैं, ignorance is bliss चलता है जो हमारा attitude है, या फिर दूसरे होते हैं जो बहुत ही worked up हो जाते हैं, they get angry, they blame सरकार को blame करते हैं, लोगों को blame करते हैं, और वही लोग 5 मिनट बाद अपनी गाड़ी में बैठ के केले का छिलका बाहर फेंक देंगे या प्लास्टिक रैपर बाहर फेंक देंगे. सो आई वाज लाइक इन दोनों में से कोई कैटेगरी नहीं, एक तीसरी कैटेगरी बनाते हैं, एंड दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड पिकिंग अप लिटर. एंड बिकॉज आई वाज द रनर एंड ऑल माय फ्रेंड्स वर रनर्स एज वेल, we very organically started picking up litter while running. So एक eco fitness movement बन गया, which has been named like India's first eco fitness movement. And then in 2019, when the government of India adopted the mission, since then almost a crore Indians have participated in the movement. So the idea is that ये जो हमारे आसपास गंदगी है, ये हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. जैसे हम प्लास्टिक के कचरे की बात करते हैं, तो प्लास्टिक की इन्वेंशन किसने की, प्लास्टिक की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कौन करता है, यूज़ कौन करता है, थ्रो कौन करता है, इंसान, राइट? तो विलन तो इंसान है, प्लास्टिक नहीं है. सो वी हैव टू somehow be mindful of our actions. And this one action of bending down to pick up your own litter or pick up somebody else's litter, you will not litter again, and that's where your sustainable journey will start. That's how I started.
Thank you, Belvi sir. Our students will definitely be motivated and our country will be litter free. Okay. Sustainability, our only path to a future that lasts. On this note, I would like Mr. Shivam Singh to speak about his work.
Dear all, I am requesting to all deans to talk to you. There is going to be exam, and if you are not watching what is been spoken by them, then you are going to lose 1 year. Going from first year to third year and going from second year to fourth year, if you have any backlog, then you lose your year. My request is that this much amount of money, time, and the input which is coming from dais is for you. It is good for you, your career, and your entire country. There is no choice to talk to each other. Otherwise, we will declare all of you fail and you will lose your 1 year. And this has no backlog exam. And once you lose 1 year, it's for the lifetime. On the same lines I speak, I request other deans to speak. And we want pin drop silence right away. There is a video camera on you. Those who are speaking by the evening will be declared as fail. And there is no backlog for this exam.
Dear students, please recognize the seriousness of this conclave. It is a credited activity for you. Please avoid side meetings. Pay attention to the speakers, because at the end of this conclave, you are all going to write an examination. Take it seriously. It is not a checkbox entry. It is a life transformation opportunity for all of you. Please take fullest advantage. You are getting heroes from all walks of the life. You are getting role models. In which institute you will get this opportunity to hear from them? Please pay attention.
For your information, 825 students this year, they lost 1 year. They have gone to all the top authorities in the country. We have done our meeting, but as per Act of India, if you have backlogs and if it is not fitting into ATKT, then probably you will lose your year. Last year, those who could not do R.I.D.E, they remained absent or did not pass exams. They are declared as failed, and they now cannot go to the fourth year, though they have completed third year. Is this clear to you? Last year, who did not do this R.I.D.E examination and R.I.D.E attendance, they completed third year in this university. Now they want to go to fourth year. Lifetime, they cannot go to fourth year. because government of India doesn't allow it, not MIT. Now these people have ganged up and they have gone to all the different authorities in the country, but no authority will be able to help because it is against the Act, UGC Act, University Grants Commission. So if you lose the year, those who are absent especially, there is no chance that you will get degree because there is no backlog for this. Unless you come again next year in third year, when second year students are having this R.I.D.E program, you completely attend it and then give the exam, then only it is possible. So take it seriously. After saying so much, till students are speaking at the back, I'll be personally coming to backside and I'll be clicking photographs of you. Request other deans to speak.
I think the message from VC sir and Dr. Seth is very clear. You have to understand that we have speakers coming from different parts of the country who are spending their precious time for you. Please learn from their experiences. This is a time to get connected to them and see the kind of achievements they have received, and this is a learning opportunity for you. And as mentioned, for every session you have to write a report. So unless you are listening to this, you won't be able to do that, and it would be evaluated for the credit. So if you want to go to next semester and earn this credit, please ensure that you are listening to all these talks and sessions and writing your report correctly. I'll request Medika sir to add a few words.
Thank you. As VC sir has mentioned, and even the two conveners have mentioned, please understand this is a classroom. This is a credited activity. I hope you have seen that in your syllabus also. So just as we maintain discipline in a classroom, well, the size is big, the speakers are here, you are here to listen to them. Please follow decorum, please follow discipline, listen to them, this is for you. If that helps, that would be great. These are opportunities that the university has provided. Please take it open-handedly. And in case you don't land up getting clearance grades, this can affect your performances ahead. I hope this is known to all of you. We have already mentioned this in the orientation programs. So please maintain decorum and please maintain sincerity that you are here in a classroom. Thank you.
I think student got the message. So let's start. Now I would like to ask Shivam Singh sir that since he have been into sustainability, so how our students can generate the income by innovation and sustainability. Now these are all UGs and PG students. So as a career,
yes,
how they can do?
Okay, thanks for the question. And the basic thing, I mean, while we were waiting in the room before coming here, there was a student who came and asked that, what's the career opportunity? Why do you think it's a not so aspiring field for others? So there is one answer to that, and that is, I think, practical, is that people are not able to find an in-sync between their career aspirations and sustainability at times. What they need to understand is, sustainability is the future. You talk about any field, I mean, something which we have to create the social capital. That is something which is the key for you to generate income. I mean, again, every field you can generate income. Again, for your survival, you need it. But at the end of the day, our parents, are they ready to allow us to go in the sector? That is the first question, which is a pre-question to this question. So we have to work mostly on creating a social capital. After that, whenever you see, I mean, there is a problem out there, the moment you create a business cycle around it, which solves the problem and also fulfills your expectation in terms of your income and livelihood,
Yeah.
I think it's solved. I mean, it's not a rocket science for you to, I mean, we are in midst of people who have created such a great innovation.
True.
So I think it's a very simple thing, but
Yeah.
you need a social capital before you talk about the income.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I would ask Vimal Panjwani, sir, that sir told that there is an obligation from parent side to be into sustainability. So how to overcome it as you have changed your passion into a career in the field of sustainability?
So first of all, I want to thank MIT and WPU building a sustainability and climate conclave, because very few places you talk about climate change. So thanks to that. Just a little bit what we do at AgriVijay. So India is a land which is agrarian economy. We have 60% population still residing in rural areas, directly or indirectly dependent on agriculture. And the 18% contribution to greenhouse gas emission coming from agriculture. So what we do is we are helping farmers to become energy financially independent with solar, biogas, green energy technologies. So not only they will increase their savings and income, but also contribute to the global climate action movement by mitigating the GHG CO2 emission. So now coming to the students, how they can, contribute to the global climate action movement. So see, the journey starts from, individual or one unit. So even if one student can think of using a solar product at their homes or building a solar solution for the society, it can be a small, solution. It can be a solar torch. It can be a solar off-grid inverter, anything. Because see, they have skill set, they have knowledge, they have abilities to solve the bigger problems in society. So even if they solve one problem in their home itself, so if you are having increased electricity bill, or even if you are seeing garbage and waste at your home, if you bring a green compost creator product at your home, if you install a solar inverter at your home or a solar torch at your home, I think you have contributed little bit to the global climate action movement. Yeah. So with small steps, I believe you can do wonders. And with the current ecosystem which Government of India has created in terms of the startup, you can become entrepreneurs even after your graduation or post-graduation. The time which we never had the opportunity, you guys have the time. So rather than searching jobs, you can create jobs for others, build a company, solve a bigger problem in society. That's the way forward.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Mr. Charan Lakaraju, you started that we will replace the Bisleri bottles next time. I just want to know that how much market is there in case of innovation and sustainability in India for freshers?
I'll give a very small example. We had a small interruption. Sometimes we need a motivation for people to listen to these conferences. Let's say now there is almost like I see thousands of students who are sitting here. First, if I say each student for that brochure or the plastic cover or a bottle, whatever they find, if they come and deposit, they will get 1 rupee or 5 rupees or something like that. If I just say wherever you find a bottle in the campus, if you deposit that, you will get 5 credits or 2 credits, and that credits will be used in your canteen, in your own campus. If you find litter, wherever it is, you'll just, if you have to deposit to a litter counter, they will give you some coupons, and those coupons can be exchanged in canteen. If you just announce certain thing like this, the 1,000 people or more than 1,000 people will feel motivated to do something.
Yeah,
the first thing in sustainability market, there is market for it. Otherwise, conferences at global level don't happen. But do you want that to become just a topic in conferences, or do you want it to become a practice?
It should be a practice.
It should be a practice.
Yes.
And a lot of times, highly intellectual people, when they discuss, the common people will never understand. First of all, a common person should understand what is it help changing in his life. We are working with one organization called Recycle. When we started, we created sustainability ambassadors in colleges called Recycle Ambassadors. We said whoever brings highest amount of waste in next 2 weeks, every day we kept a leaderboard. So every student started thinking, usko kachra kahan milta hai, bol ke wo dhoond raha tha.
The first thing is, how do you gamify these things?
Yeah.
Rather than theory, how can you convert that into a practical stuff? That's when the students get motivated. Number 2, today, the basic problem is when every student comes into any university, the first induction sessions happen. And a lot of motivational speakers remove fear. Fear removal sessions. आजकल डर ही नहीं है. अब किसी चीज का डर, पहले डराना है. डरना अच्छा है, डरना मना नहीं है. सस्टेनेबिलिटी के बारे में भी आजकल डर नहीं है. If I show a video of Antarctica melting, it will never affect me because this guy thinks I am in Pune. How come Antarctica melting is affecting me? Because his mind doesn't comprehend it. So where the change starts, the change always starts with a community. First.
Yeah.
You go to Indore, one of the cleanest cities in India. The reason why it became cleanest city is not because one person started or there was 2 conferences which happened on sustainability or anything. The unfortunate thing today is like CSR, ESG, all these are letters in English. The problem is that. The problem is actual reality when it goes down. How many people know the acronym of ESG? How many people know, there's a Feynman technique who says that whenever you explain anything to anyone, explain as if the other person is a 5-year-old. Because if you're explaining, now if I engage with this conference rather than a panel, if I say there's a ramp here, you give me a mic, and I go there and I talk, 90% of this audience will be engaged with the conversation. If there is a ramp like this till the end, the last person is disconnected because he is not interested in the conversation. No, he is not engaged in the conversation. Same thing at a sustainability level also in the community. When someone is giving a lecture in a star hotel, how come someone in a slum will understand what he has to do? He will always throw litter. But when you create campaigns which gamify, things change. That's the first step. Second, how do we create an inclusive economy? We have to include people, not give preachy economy. If you say someone comes, now there's a nice podium which is placed, I'll say everyone should create a sustainable MIT here. And I leave. And I take a bag of gifts and I'll go and you'll say, sir, have lunch. We'll have lunch and tomorrow in paper in Pune, it will be like MIT has conducted a sustainability conference. All students will be smiling. I'll be smiling. And there is a picture. And day after tomorrow, everyone forgets. How do we include students?
Yes, very true.
How do you make it a habit? There's a book called Atomic.
Students should be the part of the
small
campaign.
things. I'm talking about the small things. Those small things play a very big role.
Yeah, true. Ripudaman Belvi sir, you are the initiator for Litter-Free India. So our students wants to know, how was your journey with Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, and how our students can contribute for this mission?
So I think sir has just defined a lot of those points. So मेरे को वो define करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, because देश हमारा है, शहर हमारा है. मैं simple सा example देता हूँ हमेशा कि हमारे घर में भी कोई ना कोई सुबह साफ करता है, चाहे वो हाउस हेल्प हो या कोई भी हो, बट हम अपने घर में तो पूरे दिन कचरा नहीं फैलाते कि सुबह कोई आकर साफ कर देगा. तो सेम हमारा शहर, हमारा देश, ये धरती माँ, दिस इज आवर होम, नॉट जस्ट द 4 walls ऑफ द हाउस. ये एक्चुअली पूरी धरा जो है वो हमारा घर है. सो द डे वी ऑल रियलाइज दिस इज ऑटोमेटिकली द डे व्हेन वी स्टार्ट केयरिंग फॉर इट. दूसरी बात है कि हम सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात करते हैं, बहुत ही यूज्ड एंड अब्यूज्ड वर्ड है सस्टेनेबिलिटी आज की डेट में, बट वी पोल्यूट जस्ट बाय आवर एग्जिस्टेंस. हम ह्यूमंस जो हैं, हम तो जब ब्रीदिंग भी करते हैं तब भी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ही देते हैं ना 24 घंटे. सो वी आर नॉट लाइक ट्रीज विच गिव आउट ऑक्सीजन ड्यूरिंग द डे, राइट? सो वी विल नेवर बी सस्टेनेबल. द ओनली थिंग दैट वी कैन डू इज बी माइंडफुल ऑफ एवरी एक्शन ऑफ आवर्स. तो जो भी हम कट डाउन कर सकते हैं वो करें. एंड लाइक ही वाज suggesting कि हम एंटार्क्टिका की बात करेंगे, आर्कटिक सर्कल की बात करेंगे, यहाँ पे बैठ के पुणे में किसी को कोई उससे इम्पैक्ट नहीं होने वाला। बट जब हर साल हम देख रहे हैं कि पुणे की बारिश से जो फ्लडिंग होती है, जो हमारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कोलैप्स होता है, लोग अनफॉर्चुनेटली मरते हैं, राइट, जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डैमेज हो रहा है हमारे आसपास, जो क्लाइमेट एंग्जाइटी हो रही है हमें, दैट शुड ड्राइव आवर एक्शंस, राइट। जैसे हम यहाँ बैठ के, आई डोंट सी एसीज हियर, मेरे को एयर कंडीशनिंग तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, मे बी नेक्स्ट ईयर आप इसको बिल्कुल ओपन कर देंगे और ये लाइट्स की भी ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, और जितना ये कार्बन न्यूट्रल इवेंट हो सकता है उतना। सो वी हैव टू ऑलवेज लीड बाय एक्शंस। जैसे सर आए, उन्होंने बताया कि आपको ये सुनना है, ये एग्ज़ाम में कैरेट एंड स्टिक वर्क्स, बट अगर कैरेट और सेल्फ मोटिवेशन से अगर काम चलता है तो स्टिक की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी ना।
वेरी ट्रू, यस।
तो ये बस छोटी छोटी चीज़ें हैं जो हम फॉलो करना स्टार्ट कर दें। एंड अगर इफ बिकॉज यू टॉक्ड अबाउट द प्राइम मिनिस्टर, तो आई विल टच अपॉन इट इज़ वेल। तो 2016 में मैंने इस मुहिम की शुरुआत की और मेरा भी बहुत ही सिमिलर एक्सपीरियंस था। लाइक आई सेड कि मेरे को ये नहीं देखना था कि क्या हो रहा है दुनिया में, मुझे था कि मैं अपने आप से बदलाव स्टार्ट करूं। 2016 में मैंने इसकी शुरुआत की। 2019 में मैं इंडिया के 50 शहरों में जाकर सफाई कर रहा था। आई क्लीनड अप 1000 किलोमीटर्स ऑन फुट, आई रैन एंड क्लीनड अप 1000 किलोमीटर्स। और उस टाइम ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर कॉल्ड मी अप एंड ही सेड कि गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया वांट्स टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ योर मूवमेंट, एंड दे अडॉप्टेड आवर मिशन, एंड वंस ही गेव अ क्लैरियन कॉल टू द एंटायर कंट्री, लैक्स ऑफ पीपल केम अलोंग। सो जहाँ पे 100 लोग आते थे मेरे कैंपेन्स में, वहाँ पे 1000 लाख लोग आने लगे, एंड ऑटोमेटिकली दिस मूवमेंट हैज़ ग्रोन। बट वो 2019 की बात है, उसके बाद कोरोना हो गया। तो अभी वी नीड अनदर पुश, बिकॉज ये जो फाइट है, अगर आप हमारी सत्याग्रह मूवमेंट की बात करो, फ्रीडम मूवमेंट की बात करो, गांधी जी अपनी सत्याग्रह मूवमेंट में 2 प्राइमरी फाइट्स कर रहे थे। वन अगेंस्ट द ब्रिटिश फॉर आवर फ्रीडम, एंड वन अगेंस्ट आवर ओन पीपल्स लिटरिंग, अनक्लीन, अनहाइजीनिक हैबिट्स। हमारी पहली फाइट तो हम जीत गए, वो 1947 में हमें फ्रीडम मिल गया। 100 साल के बाद भी वी आर स्टिल स्टक इन आवर ओन अनक्लीन, अनहाइजीनिक लिटरिंग हैबिट्स। तो ये इतनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है और इसको सॉल्व करने में हम सभी का साथ लगेगा।
या ऑन दिस, थैंक यू सर। आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क शिवम सिंह सर दैट you have started your own Explore It. So our fresher student of UGs and PGs, if they want to go for their own startups, what are the challenges they will be facing?
Yeah, so for that it will depend upon their passion. Because most of the people, especially nothing against 9 to 5 job, but people are doing work for their sustenance and livelihood, but they don't find passion into it. That's why they get exhausted. I mean, that is at least coming from an HR background, I can tell you that. The moment you will enjoy your work, even liking the idea that you're working in itself is a blessing, which people miss these days. So I'll say first, find your passion. Once you identify it, making the entire loop. I mean, sir mentioned about circular economy. I mean, circularity was always there in our culture. What we have missed out is that we have lost the connect. I mean, tissue papers are here right now, but we used to carry our handkerchiefs. I mean, again, I come from North India. There we have the concept of gamcha, like the longer version of the handkerchief, and you keep it
all over the country. Yes.
Yes. And I mean, you never need. I mean, you could have saved almost 3 to 4 years ka tissue paper with just one gamcha with you.
Yeah, and ladies used to carry handkerchief with them.
Yeah.
So means it can be washable and reusable.
Correct. That's the concept of recycle. And again, they never used to throw it away. After it is torn, it is used for something else. Maybe
for
washing
pocha and all.
Jhadu pocha and all of that. So that's it. But the thing is, as I mentioned, and Vimal sir was also mentioning about the government being so receptive to all these ideas these days. Because the thing is, I mean, for us, the problem is right there in front of us. I mean, all Maharashtrians are so proud of our forts, of our heritage beauty. But you go to Sriharan Fort, you go to Lohagarh Fort, or any fort these days, they are filled with litter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everywhere.
something beyond imagination. So the student wing that we run, and MIT WPU is also part of it, the climate troopers. So what we tell them that you go for trekking, while coming back, we'll give you the plug bags. You just take whatever you can. In one day, we cannot make a very large impact, but the moment someone looks at you, they see that you are picking up the litter, they should be motivated to not litter. And that is what is, purpose of doing these drives. And as I mentioned about creating the startups in the sustainability sector, government is receptive, there is a demand. All we need is to find out our passion, where does it lie,
Yes.
what are our restrictions, finding our niche, and then once it is done, I think the entire world is a laboratory for them. Experiment, experiment, experiment. And in fact, our name, Explore It, came from that concept itself, that you never know what will come on our way. We started at something else. Right now, we are fixated at something else. So, yeah, find out your passion, and there are things like the kainat aapko milane ki madad karegi, all of that. So,
Yeah.
everything is out there.
True. Thank you, sir. Talking about the passion, Vimal Panjwani sir converted his passion into career. So, sir, I would like to know that how to stay motivated and focused on our mission for sustainability and entrepreneurship.
So when I started my journey post my MBA, I started with Bisleri as an organization, and then I worked with ICICI Bank in Pharma Finance. Then I worked with Sony Media Channel for the rural penetration. So I've been there for rural audience and worked with farmers and rural households. So I started developing interest in the rural and the farmer periphery. I realized, we are on a journey to find our own purpose. So every student, the journey is different. You should not be copying us or anybody else. You should find your own purpose and goal in life. If walking towards that purpose and goal, sustainability can be part of it, it's okay. Even if it's not, you can, contribute as an individual. So it's not necessary that you should start a company or jump into entrepreneurship because you want to solve a problem. If you see a problem, you have a solution, then only you should jump into entrepreneurship. So the motivation comes from within. If I want to become a national head or a regional head in 5 years, 10 years down the line, that is my individual goal, and you should pursue that. After pursuing maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, you might witness a problem in a community, and your heart or your soul will say that you want to solve that problem. Then you can jump into that entrepreneurship or become a founder. Because see, entrepreneurship is not easy, it's not for everyone. Let us understand that very practically. We are a 140 crore population country, and we have only 1.5 lakh startups, which means only 1.5 lakhs founders.
So, lot of scope for our students to become entrepreneurs.
So, scope is there. But the only thing is you should be solving a bigger problem, because building a company is 10-15 years journey. It's not 1 year, 2 year, you cannot just quit in 3 years. Okay, it's not happening. You should have the gullibility to accept no's, rejections from investors. Even the, your faculty, your parents will say your idea is bad. They will not support you. But your own conscience should feel that yes, I can do it. Even if people are saying no, it's okay. I will solve that problem.
Very
so I
good.
think that is where the motivation will come
Yeah.
to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so students, we have lot of scope to be an entrepreneur, because we are the population of 140 crores, in which we have only 1.5 lakhs entrepreneurs. So you all have big scope, and as said by Lakaraju sir, that since R.I.D.E is a credit course, and if you start with a little free campus, so you will be getting credit for it. So that also becomes one of the innovative means to make the country and the campus litter free or garbage free. So I would like to ask sir that now we have Bisleri bottles, so how it can be replaceable? Means now you can see on the table there are 200 ml bottles. So if I want to replace it, so how it can be done?
No, it's not just about a bottle or anything, but
Yeah,
it's more
any kind of plastic.
from a larger level. Reuse. It's like it's these days what we did in our office. We just bought our branded bottles, where we said every employee gets a bottle on his desk, so they carry their own bottle. You know, bring your BYOB, bring your own bottle. So it's like small things change a lot. We said whoever has an EV bike, we said we will give you a loan, interest-free loan in our office. Now what happens is like when we say small initiatives where we encourage, it's a culture that goes back into their family. Because you cannot change everyone, but you have to just inspire some people to change. Like let's say we replaced everything with metal straws to everyone. When we gave an employee induction kit, we gave one metal straw to everyone, one tumbler to everyone. You know, when we do small things, those things become a culture. When we started giving gifting in Diwali or something, we started putting sustainable gifting. See, to sustain sustainability, it is very tough. Because sustaining is something where you have to do it repetitively. So how many of you here in the audience use electric bikes? Electric bikes or something in your families? 1, 2. There are people who are saying now they are lifting hands. Information dissemination. So the reason why I asked the question is, most of you are in your first year or second year here. If you want to plan your career in 28 or 29, 2024, 2028, the real business and environment is in the space of battery recycling. Mark my words, if someone cracks the code of batteries, the next biggest billionaire from India is a person who will work in the space of batteries. It's not just electric vehicles. The innovation is all about the battery which is used in the electric vehicle. And today, the real student is someone who thinks very crazily because he is not binded by rules. His ideas start coming because sometimes the foolish ideas will give you a new innovation. I invested in one startup in Jaipur. Couple of BIT students have started where they said swappable batteries, where the swapping centers are the local kirana shops. Where the kirana shop guy he charges those batteries. He gets any auto wala can come there like a petrol bunk, can swap the batteries rather than waiting to charge. And the app gives you the nearest kirana shop where there are available batteries for his vehicle, for the auto rickshaw. So when a small innovation like this, and even the batteries, there's a huge demand. The global, lot of countries are looking towards India. So if you want to take up any innovation, it is in the area of batteries. And these batteries today, the chemicals which are used, will have more problem than the fossil fuels to the environment. Most of them are not realizing that problem today. Each vehicle, EV vehicle, will create more damage than the benefit that is giving today if the battery problem is not solved. So today students here might think, what is the entrepreneurship career that I have? Okay, I am getting one credit. I am attending this conference. What will I understand? But take one point away from here, that if you start working in improving the efficiency of batteries, the next big billionaire is sitting in the audience. Maybe he'll come to R.I.D.E 28 or R.I.D.E 29 and talk about, I was sitting in 24 as a first year student and was thinking about batteries. And someone told on the stage that, okay, you can do something. The day when an MIT student comes back to the stage, the real benefit of R.I.D.E is served. When someone in the audience comes here, it's just not that one credit I get. It is about the credit which I can give to R.I.D.E that I had something in my life. That is the day when R.I.D.E becomes more relevant in everyone's life here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for your remarkable insight. Yes, our major audience are MIT WPU students. From this panel discussion, they have got a big insights of having a big opportunity outside after their graduation and post-graduation of becoming an entrepreneur in the field of sustainability and innovation. Also, there are big number of jobs waiting for them. How it has to be achieved, that you got the insights from this discussion. Now, Mr. Belvi would like to take a pledge with our audience.
So, आपने चरण सर की तो बात सुन ली. I think he's given you a great suggestion. And honestly, I think since the lockdown, I started thinking about battery recycling. And I've been saying this, that's the next big billion-dollar idea. And I wanted to crack this, but मेरे पास time नहीं है probably. So I'm not going to be the next billionaire. But I'm sure one of you could be. So ये तो हो गई long term, what you want to do in your career. I wanted to give you a small challenge since sirs also all had come. So I wanted to give you a challenge for today and for the next few days and weeks and months that all of you can do to contribute towards your nation. अच्छा, कितने लोगों को पता है कि हमारे देश को आज़ाद हुए कितने साल हो चुके हैं? कितने साल हुए हैं? I'll give you 4 options like KBC, 75, 76, 77, 78. 78? No, 77 years complete हुए हैं. We just celebrated our 78th Independence Day. But 77 साल हुए हैं. But 77 years के बाद भी क्या हमें कचरा दिखता है अपने आसपास? दिखता है, राइट? तो इस कचरे से आज़ादी कब मिलेगी हमें? मुश्किल है, राइट? बट मैं हमेशा यही पूछता हूँ कि कचरा क्या दिखता है? प्लास्टिक का कचरा दिखता है? प्लास्टिक का कचरा दिखता है, राइट? येस और नो? और प्लास्टिक को इन्वेंट किसने किया था? इंसान ने, आपने और मैंने. प्लास्टिक मैन्युफैक्चर कौन करता है? कंज्यूम कौन करता है? थ्रो कौन करता है? हम करते हैं. सो देयर वाज अ सर्वे डन, एक रैंडम स्टूपिड आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स सर्वे आया था कि अगर हर एक इंसान अपने अगले 1 साल में 658 पीसेस ऑफ लिटर उठाना स्टार्ट कर दे, तो इफ ऑल 8 बिलियन पीपल जॉइन अस इन दिस मिशन, we will be able to clean up our world. तो बहुत सिंपल सा चैलेंज है कि हर रोज अगर हम सब अपने आसपास अगर 2-3 पीसेस ऑफ लिटर उठाना स्टार्ट कर दें, तो we'll pick up in a year 730 plus pieces. That automatically contributes to a litter free world. So एक चैलेंज थ्रो करना चाहूँगा और एक प्लेज लूँगा. चैलेंज ये है कि अगले कुछ हफ्तों में, अगले कुछ दिनों में you can go around your campus. जब आप घर पे हो, अपने कैंपस में हो, हॉस्टल में हो, you can pick up a piece of litter and put it on social media and tag your friends with the campaign hashtag साफ करेगा इंडिया. Will you be able to do it? आप सब करोगे? और अगर क्योंकि I don't hear a yes or a no, can I ask everybody to stand up? We'll take a pledge. Can I ask everybody to stand up in your seats, like next to your seats? पीछे वाले भी, बैक बेंचर्स भी. So pledge, शपथ कैसे लेते हैं हम? राइट हैंड अपना या क्रॉस योर हार्ट. मैंने मराठी में प्रिपेयर किया था, बट गिवन द ऑडियंस आई थिंक वील डू दिस इन हिंदी. हिंदी सबको आती है? ओके. एंड आई वांट टू, मतलब जब मैं बोलूं तो आई कैन हियर योर वॉइस एज वेल. लेट्स डू दिस फॉर आवर सेल्फ, फॉर आवर कंट्री. ओके, मैं अपना नाम लूंगा, आप सब अपना नाम लेंगे. मैं रिपु दमन. मेरे को एक तो किसी की आवाज नहीं आ रही और किसी ने मेरा नाम तो नहीं लिया ना. अपने ले रहे हो प्लेज. सो मैं रिपु दमन ये शपथ लेता हूं कि अपना कचरा सिर्फ कूड़ेदान में डालूंगा. जहां भी जाऊंगा अपना झोला लेकर चलूंगा और पॉलिथीन बैग्स को ना कहूंगा. जहां भी जाऊंगा अपनी वाटर बॉटल लेकर चलूंगा और सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक बॉटल्स को ना कहूंगा। और इन सब की वजह से अपने देश को, अपने भारत को कूड़ा मुक्त रखूंगा और दुनिया का सबसे साफ देश बनाऊंगा। भारत माता की कर सकते हैं ये हम सब? ओके, गुड, थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. That was a very great pledge, and I'm sure that it will be very effective when our students follow. And thank you, panelists.
Vote of thanks. Thanks. Really very encouraging, sir. So I thank you all for participating in today's panel discussion on innovation and sustainability. We have gained a valuable insight into how these fields are transforming our nation and what we can do to contribute. A special thanks to all our esteemed panelists for sharing their expertise, and also to our major audience, students, for their participation. And the real work begins now. Use what have you learned today to make a difference. Our guests have laid a groundwork for change. It's time to take action and make a difference. Remember, the journey towards a more sustainable future starts with each one of us. Let's turn today's insight into tomorrow's action. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, panelists. There was definitely a lot to learn from the discussion. Great leaders are also great learners. So I encourage you to embrace feedback, seek out mentors, and always be curious. Remember, leadership is a journey and not a destination. Now we have a question-answer session. Students, we have two podiums, one on the right side of the stage and other on the left side of the stage. All those students who have questions, please proceed to your nearest questions. Thank you. Beginning with the podium on my right side, can I have the question?
Any questions, students?
Technical team, I request you to turn on the mic on the podium. It's on. Please press the button. It's not working. Can you please check once again? No? Technical team. Okay, for the time being, can we move on to the left side of the podium?
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Vidushri Randan from second year BCA. So my question is, as we are in a developing country, environment is bound to get sacrificed. So how can we handle innovation, technology and advancement of this country along with the environment?
Yeah, Lakaraju sir, please can you?
So the problem is still we are saying developing country. Let's stop, that the day when we stop saying developing country, we always feel that और दिन है चलेगा ऐसा ही चल रहा है, हम डेवलपिंग ही है. ये इंग फॉर्म को थोड़ा चेंज करके एड फॉर्म को लाना है. डेवलप्ड कब बनेंगे? फर्स्ट इन्वॉल्वमेंट कहाँ से शुरू होता है? अपने से ही शुरू होता है. व्हेन मोदी जी, द ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर कीप्स अस डूइंग सम एक्टिविटीज फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम कोरोना, व्हेन आई से लाइक आज ताली बजाओ and everyone makes fun of it, some people, but actually that is involving community. दिया जलाओ, दिया जलाने से कुछ होगा नहीं होगा वो चीज़ नहीं होता है. कभी क्या होता है, सबको एक मास मूवमेंट करवाना पड़ता है. Our country needs Gunde to lead. Because if there are soft people, if they lead our country, we can never run any campaign in our country because the democracy is too much that everybody has an opinion here. The problem is we need more tough people to run the country, to involve people so that's where things happen. If you don't have a stick, the things won't run in a democracy. So if you want to have or launch an innovation, it has to start from your home. It has to smaller things. Don't think about launching a space rocket only. That is not just an innovation. People think that launching a space rocket company itself is an innovation. Doing your mom in kitchen, if she innovates some smallest of the small thing, if she optimizes the usage of gas, that is also an innovation. If she innovates a culinary thing, poha ko naya tarika se poha banaye to bhi innovation hi hai.
Right.
That is a culinary innovation. So how do you respect smaller innovations? Then only the involvement of people. Second, recognition to the innovation. When you recognize innovators, the other innovators start feeling that we have to do something. So when we recognize and then innovate, then a larger country like India can innovate at a large scale.
Very true, sir.
Thank you,
think
sir.
so.
Is the right side working now? Sorry, ma'am, please continue.
No, it's fine. I think she got the answer. Any student who want to ask the question?
Good afternoon, respected panelists. I am Ananya Sharma from second year BBA General, and my question is this. So, what role does innovation play in solving the most pressing climate challenges?
Can you please repeat?
What role does innovation play in solving the most pressing climate challenges?
Okay, Panjwani sir, can you?
I feel in a country like India, education is the most important thing. See, we have audience across, and if you even ask like how a solar inverter works, nobody will be able to tell. So even today, a farmer or a normal consumer thinks कि solar panel लग गया तो मेरे को free बिजली मिल जाएगी, जबकि ऐसा नहीं है. सोलर पैनल के साथ आपका सोलर इन्वर्टर आता है, बैटरी आती है, एसेसरीज आता है, पूरा एक सेट आता है और वो सिस्टम एक साथ फंक्शन करता है, तब आउटपुट आता है. सो एजुकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज इनोवेशंस हमारी कंट्री में बहुत हो रहे हैं. द इनोवेशंस कीप ऑन हैपनिंग. वी हैव इनोवेशंस लाइक सोलर ड्रायर्स, सोलर स्प्रेयर्स, जो कि गाँव तक पहुँचे नहीं हैं. इवन शहरों में भी लोगों को पता नहीं कि ये एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. सो आई थिंक एजुकेशन इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज अगर एजुकेशन ही नहीं होगा कि कोई टेक्नोलॉजी एग्जिस्ट करती है, कोई टेक्नोलॉजी है जो हमारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकती है, यू विल नॉट बाय दैट प्रोडक्ट एज अ कंज्यूमर. सो आई थिंक education is going to happen more and more, and without education we will not be able to penetrate technologies, even green energy, biogas, or even solar technologies in the village or ever the urban periphery. I'll give you one small example. अभी पीएम ऑनरेबल पीएम ने सूर्य निर्भर योजना चालू की जिसमें 1 करोड़ घर में सोलर ऑफ ग्रिड या ऑन ग्रिड सोल्यूशन लगने हैं. हम में से कितने लोगों ने वो वेबसाइट खोल के हमारे खुद के घर पे उसको लगाने का सोचा है कि हमारा बिजली का कॉस्ट कम हो जाए और हम एनवायरनमेंट को कंट्रीब्यूट कम कर सके. सो आई थिंक द जर्नी विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम यू. How many of people you go on a track, you buy torches, right? You normal torches buy करते हैं. क्या हमने solar torch buy किया है? क्या हमने solar power bank buy किया है? So I think education is going to play a larger role because even e-commerce platform like Amazon, they will not educate you. You have to get the education first that product exists, and then you will buy that product to contribute to the environment as well as yourself as a journey of a consumer.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Just to add to what Vimal said, there's always a misconception in students also and a lot of people. Educated means getting people with degree. Education and degree is different.
Yeah, like literacy and education.
Absolutely. You know, people are, in India, people think that someone is educated means they have a degree. No. Actually, a lot of rural innovators, without knowing that it is an innovation, they have innovated a lot. The problem is that we don't recognize them. And the second thing, people have to be awake, not awoke. A lot of people are woke, not awake. They are opinionated. The reason, the real day we will start seeing some change is when you don't judge people by their degrees.
Yeah, it's like that. अंधे को रास्ता दिखा सकते हैं, पर जो जागा हुआ है उसको कैसे रास्ता दिखाएंगे? It goes like this.
There was one more thing that I wanted to add. कि innovation हम define कैसे करते हैं? क्या है innovation? सिर्फ technology है क्या innovation? Innovation actually जब हम आज की date में we are trying to go back to pre-green green revolution, green farming era, जहाँ पे हम वापस से organic farming ला रहे हैं, जो हमारी सदियों की विरासत है, right? जो हम हमेशा से करते हुए आते थे. Green revolution came because it was a need of the hour, but probably today it has done more damage than the good that our society needs. So innovation is कि हमारे आज के challenges जो हैं उनको हम कैसे solve करते हैं, चाहे going back to our age-old wisdom या through innovation of technology. That is where we also need to understand that it's not always technology that is innovation. Innovation is also going back to slow, mindful living for a better society, better world in the future.
Thank you, sir. Next question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Your answers were very valuable to the students. I request the dignitaries from the VIP section to please come forward, and the guests on the dais to please come forward for a group photograph.
We now have the group photograph. Can we please have a round of applause for all our dignitaries? I now request Dr. Dinesh Seth sir to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries, guests, and my dear students, as we come to the conclusion of today's enriching, I stand before you with a deep sense of gratitude. First and foremost, I wish to thank our distinguished keynote speakers, Dr. Priyadarshini Karve, Mr. Shashank Varma, and Mr. Mani. Your insights into the field of clean energy, breakthrough innovations, and digital solutions have not only enlightened us, but also inspired us to push the boundaries of research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed panelists, Mr. Charan Lakaraju, Mr. Shivam Singh, Mr. Ripudaman Bilvi, and Mr. Vimal Panjwani. Your discussions today on entrepreneurship, innovation has provided us valuable insights, perspectives, and actionable inputs that will surely resonate in our future endeavors. I would be remiss if I did not thank our organizing team, the faculty, staff members, and the backbone of our events, our student volunteers who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the smooth conduct of this event. Your dedication is deeply appreciated, and I extend all my appreciation to all the second year students for ensuring that they attend this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's not on. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your words. I request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem. And I request the technical team to please play the national anthem. Thank you.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Before we conclude today's session, there are two small announcements that I'd like to make. One, there will be a QR code displayed in the pandal